and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name is Sean Bell. I am joined by James Farley.
Hello.
No longer dying, I hope.
No, I'm quite a lot better now. It's over,
good.
Which is good.
Good. How much
it was
weight
like,
did you lose
10
in the
days
end?
of hell, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was, yeah. I mean, I've lost, I think, nearly a stone from it.
I mean, that's something, isn't it? I mean,
I know, but I'm sure I'll pile it all on by the end of the week. So, because
that's the point, because when you've had an illness like that, and then you come out of it, you just want to eat the worst shit, don't you?
Yeah, it's like, and it's it's mostly water as well that you've lost during that time. So I'm sure I'll probably be even worse than I was before by the end of this. Because I mean, I was going to go out today. I was going to drink a pint of cream and a whole chunk of Stilton. But yeah, I didn't do that. So that wouldn't have been.
I
good.
mean, yeah. If you want to mess your guts up all over again, that's the way to do it. Matt Murray.
Hello, it's me.
Hello.
James, you should save that for the stream on Friday. Just do the Stilton and the cream thing live on camera.
We'll sit there, just drink a pint of cream and then do Deadly Premonition.
Yeah. You should absolutely.
Patreon stretch goal, drink a pint of cream on the stream. Speaking of, because we somehow hit both of our Patreon stretch goals, this Sunday at 7 p.m, I will be streaming the first episode of Bell's Kitchen. Which is going to be interesting. I've had to go with the setup, and I think it works. I mean, you guys have seen the test.
Oh, it definitely works. I was looking forward to this anyway, but seeing your lots of test footage, I'm so pumped for Sunday. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I would say you've gone above and beyond, and I'm loving it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm still because and I know it'll probably be fine, but obviously just because it's out of our comfort zone, it's like, oh no, this could be shit. This could be really rubbish.
It won't be.
But it would definitely.
But yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that I've opted to do 2 courses, which is probably quite unnecessary.
No, yeah, that's like on Come Dine With Me, where someone decides to cook a really complex dish they'd never done before. It's like, do something you know how to do. Why are you making it hard for yourself?
No, I know how to do them both, and they're both pretty simple. So I'm going to do salmon and lentils with asparagus, chorizo, and balsamic dressing, and then I'm going to do a sticky toffee pudding. I'll probably do it the other way around, because the sticky toffee pudding takes ages to bake. So I'll probably do that first, bung it in the oven, then do the salmon and lentils, and then hopefully the timing will work out. I'll probably have to end the stream before the sticky toffee pudding actually finishes baking, but we'll see. So that's going to be interesting. So tune in.
I can't wait.
And also, things are underway to get Star Calls on the go. Dave has got the Blu-ray of the original trilogy.
We're close, actually. We're just at the moment. We're just discussing. It's going to be very soon, basically.
Okay,
yeah, it's
cool.
Very, very soon. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. We're still getting people saying "Oh, it's going to be great. Dave's going to absolutely hate it." I'm not so sure he will.
No, I don't think he will either.
I think he'll be all right. I think he'll. Yeah.
But you think he's going to love Star Wars?
I don't think he'll love it, but I think he'll be able to appreciate it for what it is. And I think also, I'm not sure that that was a weird noise. I don't think
I'm clipping that.
I don't know, because the trouble is he's watching it all out of time as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like, although it's timeless anyway.
No, he isn't though. He's watching it in the correct order, James.
What do you mean out of time? He's doing it in the order, isn't he?
No, he's doing it in the order of
cinematic
release. Now, what I mean is, it's like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess I'm trying to say, is it still as relevant as it was, 30, 40 years ago? Or not 40 years ago.
I guess so. There's no easy way of saying in the 70s this introduced a certain subset of people to the notion of spirituality, or a notion of spirituality that they could get. People really bought into the whole Force stuff. Whereas now you're just like, well, what? Why is that?
It's a bit
space magic, innit?
It's a bit like Chen, like my wife. She didn't grow up with the Beatles and stuff because they didn't have that in China so much. And now she'll listen to it and she's like, yeah, I like this, I can appreciate this, but it's still not as mind-blowing for her as it would have been, for people in the beginning. Do you get what I mean?
But then, none of us were there in the beginning for Star Wars, right? I know we sort of grew up, but then we still grew up with it, I guess, which is the main.
But also, when we were
difference.
growing up, there wasn't as much stuff, was there? There wasn't as much science fiction and stuff like that, really, as there is now. It wasn't as part. I don't feel it was as part of culture as it is now. When I was growing up, it's people still felt it was a bit there was a whole period in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s and stuff, where it was no one really talked about it anymore either. It was not really such a big deal.
Yeah, it's just no longer. Yeah, and then obviously the prequels.
Yeah, I was going to say he's not going to have the gap where the excitement was ramping up for years, and Star Wars was
it's like how do you
it's very different.
Like how do you say to Dave, okay, you've watched the first 3. Now imagine like 30 years have passed, not 30 years, but you know what I mean, 20 years have passed, and you've based your life on these 3 films, and then they say they're going to do a new one.
Yeah,
you can't
and
possibly
Natalie Portman's
imagine
in it. It's like
yeah, and Ewan McGregor, and you know,
well,
all that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, I guess let's not spoil it because he could love it.
That's true, I still insist episode 3 is all right. I mean, 1 is
I didn't mind that. Yeah.
1, remove Jar Jar and we'll talk. 2 is very dull. 3, I honestly think 3 is okay.
2 is one of the worst films ever made. I absolutely hate that film.
2 is the one with all the trade stuff and the Senate stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's not just that. It's also big. No, we can't say any of this, can we?
No, we're saying too much.
Yeah, we are.
Sure, put a spoiler button for the episode.
we should maybe tell David not to listen to this bit actually, because it'll ruin stuff.
It'll colour his
No, he's got a shit memory. It'll be fine.
That's true.
Right. So those are happening soon, but we might as well get feedback. But if you want to back our Patreon, it's patreon.com/TCGS. We've got some Patreon producers for this episode. They have backed us. It's Alan M. Nash, Barney Sparkles, and Steve Garrett. Thanks ever so much, everyone. We
is it Sparkles? Or you've put Sparks in the... Barney... I mean, by all means, change it to Sparkles if you want, because that is funny.
Well... Yeah, I'm going to call him Barney Sparkles now. Okay, Barney
Sparkles. The guy's paid off. I just want to make sure we get his name right.
Let's get Alan M. Nash, Barney Sparks, and Steve Garrett.
Okay,
Appreciate y'all. But also Barney Sparkles. Let's get on to feedback. We're going to kick off with Chris O'Regan style. Now, last week, we had a story whereby Elder Scrolls Online had copied a pen and paper RPG, at least we thought. So here's Chris with an alternative view. The Elder Scrolls story was about a pen and paper RPG, not ESO. Also, Wizards of the Coast are owned by Hasbro and are a very successful and wealthy company. I know you're not keen on analog gaming, but be careful when you mention it.
Whoa.
Okay, first of all,
threat. Yeah, such a threat. Be careful.
That be careful. Is that a threat? Because it sounds like a threat, and if it sounds like a threat, then it is a threat, and I feel threatened. So I'm a bit worried about that.
I mean, I'm reporting Chris to, I don't know who, the police?
But also, the other thing with that is that the original story, I didn't say it was Elder Scrolls Online. According to Eurogamer, the pen and paper RPG was connected to Elder Scrolls Online. Not that it was online, so yeah.
I made the point that Wizards of the Coast are massive and have a lot of money. Okay, I didn't mention they were owned by Hasbro. Apologies, Chris.
But just not enough threat. Yeah, the threats is just not nice, you know.
No.
I mean, will you be okay, James? Can you carry on?
I still feel threatened, to be honest.
Well,
but but continue.
If it wasn't for the Patreon money, you'd probably be packing it in right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is blood money now, isn't it? We're like just paying to carry on, even if you're scared out of your wits. Mike Edwards at Mickey_Jim_Bob on Twitter. My personal favourite moment from last week. Matt Murray saying, "I'm looking into wigs." I am. I mean, I said last week actually. I said last week, it's too long. We'll cover it later in the show about the wig stuff, and then we never did. So
that whole bit, I sort of came away like, I don't know if he was serious or not. Not that I thought you were joking, but just like I wasn't sure if you were seriously considering buying one. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just the idea of you just turning up one day and everyone being like, "Well, you didn't grow that, did you, Matt?"
Yeah, see, that's the problem, isn't it? Because I was talking to Chen about this because I was saying like, "Oh yeah, Matt's interested in wigs," and she was like, "Oh yeah," and I just said,
"She's got a low enough view of me as it is."
And then we said, like, you know, she was like, "How much is it?" And I said, "Oh, it's about $2,000." And then she looked at me and she said, "That's not bad." And so then, I said, the trouble
I don't know what the going rate for a wig is.
But the trouble is,
they're not wigs. It's non-surgical hair replacement. Get it right.
The trouble, though, isn't it? Like what you said was true, Matt. We can't do that now because everyone will know it's not real. You know, it's like you can't. That's the problem. It's like, you know.
But also, I mean, I said to people at work, like, you know, if I did it, would you lose respect for me? They're like, no, because you do you. Like, it's like obviously they know it's not real, but then I don't know. They're like, no, just. If that makes you happy, do it.
They'll be like, it's a wig. They'll be just
obviously it's giving me a wig because I was having no hair. Yeah, it's not like, well, I used a new shampoo, guys. Now look at me. Well, I didn't shave my head for 2 weeks. Now,
but the problem is, like, even if you think you generally look worse without hair, right? Like it's like when you there's like a celebrity that you know, like Billy Corgan, right, from Smashing Pumpkins. I only ever knew him as a bald man, but then when you find like old footage of him with hair, he now looks sillier with hair to me because I only knew him as bald.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think you just kind of got to stick with it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's a million other things I would probably do with that money before I spent it on hair. But the idea, I mean, again, like Phil does hair on Instagram. Just look at all the amazing like videos and like these products are happy. Like you wouldn't know it's a wig. Sorry, a non-surgical hair replacement. You wouldn't know that at all. Oh God, it just be. I've never had good hair. Even when I had hair, it was shit hair. I just think I can have like, perfect hair, and I wonder how different my life would be if I had hair. Anyway,
to be fair, I'm looking at the stuff now. It is ridiculous.
Are you looking at?
I'm looking at his Instagram account. Like they're actually like really convincing.
Yeah,
like,
the
really
fact that
people actually have like a fade into the wig.
Really convincing. You basically get it on. You have like a full like a session where they measure you and make sure it's all like exactly as the rest of your hair. If you've got any, and then basically it goes put on your head. It's like glued on. You can't take it off without unless you like spray this like de-gluing spray. So it's not going to come off in the shower or swimming or in the rain. You get it cut and styled as you want. And every 4 weeks, I think you can like you sort of re-glue it.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, it just there's some amazing videos on there, Sean. But I mean, I would bloody love to. I would bloody love just to see what it's like. But it's a bit expensive. Actually, the one in America is actually only $850.
Really? Oh, well, there you go.
So maybe I'll get a quick, cheap ticket over to New York, get some hair, and come back. Anyway, I mean, just look out for me, everyone, at EGX. If I've got like a full head of hair, then you know what's happened. Have we got this? Just run up
to him and start trying to pull it off. Go,
yeah. Oh, it's $2,000, you twat. Yeah, on the next Bloodborne Sundays, I'm like, hey guys, I've got like an Alice band. Or maybe like a man bun. Like, yeah, you might know something different about me. I've got a new shirt on. It's just,
Matt, have you thought about sponsorship, maybe? Maybe you could get it through that.
Oh, yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah, maybe I'll get in contact, yeah. Anyway, we've talked way too much. But yeah, am I thinking about it? Yes, definitely. Do I think about it every day? Definitely. Would I actually do it? Probably better things to spend money on at the moment. But my God. Yeah. Imagine having hair. Anyway, Dan Stancer on Twitter at Holtigs hopes Sean has got Saturday afternoon off to cheer the mighty Tranmere Rovers on in the playoff final. I'm expecting to see him in the crowd, although alternative commentary would be fun.
So this came
what's
up.
Your plans for Saturday, Sean?
You know the whole Tranmere thing came about because I mentioned it's like it's my wife's not actual granddad, but my wife's grandma's husband. He's a Tranmere fan. So when Dave was like, well, what's your family team? I was like, that was the only link I could think of. So I was round at the in-laws last week and they were like, oh, John's going mental because they're in the playoffs.
I know, right? Oh,
yeah, I know. To be like, yeah, I've actually heard about this. And they're like, oh, how come? And I said, well, because it's a thing on the internet that people think I'm a Tranmere fan. But not really. But they all act like I am just to upset me. So yeah.
And they're
like explaining that to normal people.
Hang on, what's so funny about being a Tranmere fan?
Yeah, what's funny about that?
Well, come on in, Sean. What's so funny about being a Tranmere fan, eh? Get Jimmy on the phone now.
So, I mean, alternative commentary.
To you, Sean?
People don't understand.
Are we a joke? Is this family and this team a joke to you? For your internet nerd friends?
The saddest thing about that was that we did that whole episode, which we lost because of me, which was where we did that Tranmere quiz as well.
Oh God, yeah.
Which was amazing.
That was good.
And I mean, that's when I couldn't stop laughing again, because it turned out one of the players for Tranmere was called Bunny Bell. And for some reason, I just found that hilarious.
Well, the more disturbing part was that they're also known as the White Army.
That's the Super White Army.
Super White.
Oh, the Super White Army. Jesus Christ. Gets worse. Yeah, but I mean, you wouldn't want me doing alternate commentary. I promise.
I don't know.
I don't know even enough to try and be funny about it.
But that would probably be funny. He's on a kick. There's another kick.
Well, we'll see how I have bought FIFA 17 and 18 now, by the way.
Yeah, brilliant.
It is unfortunately going to happen at some point. I just need to find a nice jumping off point for Played by the Bell, because I do think about 20 people are going to really miss that.
We also need to discuss ground rules, I think, with FIFA as well, like how you're going to play it, because we need to discuss that, because that's how, what difficulty you're going to play it on, the the fact that you're
Does
not
that mean I
allowed
can't put it on easy, yeah?
the fact that you're not allowed to simulate matches, that kind of thing.
Right.
It's yeah.
To make it as grueling as possible. Can't wait.
I'm going to quite miss Play by the Bell, so what are we going to do? Do it every other week?
I suppose we could alternate, yeah. But then am I not playing FIFA for 2 weeks every time? Am I just going to forget everything? Bearing in mind, I do not know how these games work at all.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, good thing. Okay.
Let's not kill Play by the Bell just yet.
It's too good a pun to not.
What is that? And the music is banging 9 out of 10 games. I think there's only one game that hasn't had amazing music. Anyway, last week we talked about Sean missing E3. Some people were tweeting us this week asking when, whose year is it? And it was Sean, who said last week. Yep. Dan Regard, I'm very tempted to play along with the show. Would make for an interesting E3 for sure if Sean, Newt, and listeners are also committed to the blackout. I wonder how many people listening to the show are thinking about doing having a media blackout for a week and then listening to us to get all the hottest E3 news.
That would be cool if other people are willing to do that. I mean, I think it's probably quite a nice thing to do anyway. Just get off the internet for. I mean, it's not even a full week, right? It's only we said Friday the 7th through till the Tuesday.
Yeah. So it won't be a full week.
So that shouldn't be too hard, right? Probably.
Yeah, if you go away for the weekend and suddenly it's Monday and it's a couple of days of work and get your head down and yeah. I mean, for me and James, it was literally a full week because we were away. So.
I was longer than a week. I had to do 2 weeks nearly because I was away.
You had to do ages, didn't you? Because you went back to record the show and then,
Yeah, but I imagine you cheated, James, so it didn't really count.
I didn't cheat. I just looked at some stuff on Reddit and it was nothing to do with E3.
Well, I'm sure, I mean, you went on the internet, James, and I was a good boy.
I had to go on the internet. I was away from home. It's impossible not to.
Okay.
My wife thinks this is all hilarious, by the way, when I was explaining exactly when you really think about how easy it would be to accidentally stumble across something and therefore how little you're actually allowed to use or look at on the internet.
It's
she thinks it's funny as fuck.
Like this week, because I obviously Game of Thrones airs on 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday night / Monday morning. So Mondays, and actually usually Mondays and Tuesdays are a nightmare because we typically record the pod on Mondays, and so we don't actually watch it until Tuesday. This week I watched it on Monday night, but even then I was like, okay, well, can't go. Obviously, no Facebook, no Twitter, no Reddit. But I was like, I can't go BBC website. I can't really go anywhere because some website will randomly say, "Oh, can't believe that happened."
I don't know. It's going to be shit this year anyway, isn't it?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, in terms of stumbling across spoilers, my main problem is the Instagram search page, and it just kind of throws loads of shit at you that the algorithm thinks you might like.
I can imagine. Yeah.
For some reason, I get loads of stuff about Marvel films. I don't know why. I'm not really into them, but whatever. So literally, So when the final Game of Thrones episode went up, I was doing Isaac's night feed at about 3 a.m. and then that finished, and then I was like, pretty sure the new episode's just gone up on Now TV.
Oh my God, you watched it at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, and then I thought, fuck it, I'm up anyway. And it was a really quick night feed as well, so I thought, well, that was a freebie. So it won't really necessarily change my life too much if I just watch Game of Thrones now. No. And then lo and behold, so as I got up, Instagram search page, there's a spoiler straight away. So there you go. I'm going to have to delete everything. I am going to do a stream, I think, same as Matt did. Probably not as funny, but I'll have a go. It'd be quite amusing.
It'd be great. That's it for follow-up and feedback. It's at ComputerGamePod on Twitter if you want to leave some feedback, or you can email podcast@thecomputergameshow.com.
So, James, in the final episode of Game of Thrones where it turns out that Jon Snow ends up killing the rest of his family while Dany just stabs. Meanwhile, it turns out that Tyrion is actually a man, which really doesn't sit well with his dad. And to really top it off, we find out that Sir Davos is actually Samwell Tarly's first, which nobody saw coming at all, making him true heir to the throne. And then in the end, they all shake each other's and end up f***ing.
Okay, so Sean, what you want me to do is you want me to explain as eloquently as you just did things that have happened this week.
Yeah, pretty much. You just give a complete accurate summary. I mean,
I can't... What? That's a lot of work suddenly. And we're recording on Tuesday night, and now I've got to bleep out. Some people may have not listened to watch the episode yet.
Okay, well, I don't think anything I just said would really be considered a spoiler, but whatever, if that's what you think.
Well, you've literally gone through the entire plot of the show, but
Honestly, I wasn't trying to make work for you. But
No, obviously not. I mean, I'm going to have to... There'll be like one word out that whole thing you can actually hear, and then the rest will just be like a solid bleep. So thanks for that.
Oh, no worries.
Anyway, news.
Okay, PlayStation are setting up a new film and TV division.
Whoa.
Oh, good.
What year is this? We are back to 2013, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so this is Sony Interactive Entertainment, and they're creating a new enterprise that's going to be called PlayStation Productions. And it's designed to bring its like video game properties to film and TV, and it's being overseen by Shawn Layden as well. So that's great.
Okay, I mean, Shawn Layden seems all right. Like, obviously, this is one of those things where it's like, do you know what? This could be fine. But it's just how many good like game and TV tie-ins have there been?
Well, okay, the plan here is that obviously not many. So the projects are going to be produced internally, though, so they're not going to license them out. So this is a bit different to Microsoft, because like Microsoft have teamed up with Universal for like Gears of War, Warner Brothers for Minecraft, and Showtime with Halo. But Sony are going to do it all in-house, and they've said that they've got like 100 game titles to choose from, but they haven't specified what they're going to focus on at all. And
actually, so basically there was it says here, Sony had an IR Day 2019. I don't know what it is. Basically, I think it might be internal relations. Anyway, they've confirmed today that they're working on a Twisted Metal TV series.
Really? I didn't say that. Okay.
Twisted Metal. I mean,
okay.
I haven't. I know what the games are about. Isn't that like cars smashing into each other?
It's a weird one. Yeah. So it's people in cars shooting each other, and apparently it is huge in America. Apparently, the whole thing with PlayStation has always been like, we have Twisted Metal in America and we have Wipeout in Europe, and that's that's like a really hard split. So I mean,
Twisted Metal TV shows like. So is that like it's kind of Mad Maxy, kind of, or like Destruction Derby, kind of Fast and Furious-y?
I mean, Shawn Layden said that they'd looked at what Marvel have done and kind of wanted some of that, but then they got no plans for like.
Look at all the Spider-Man films that Sony made, apart from Into the Spider-Verse, which is the best film ever made. They've all been garbage.
Well, they also did. I mean, there was Ratchet and Clank as well, which was adapted before, and that wasn't great from what I heard. It's like basically just the game, but like with all the cutscenes and everything, but not really that good.
Oh, brilliant!
But there's also, there's always been rumours about an Uncharted film, and that's never made it. And I mean, also,
the Shadow of the Colossus film as well. That was meant to be a thing, right?
Really?
Yeah.
And the Metal Gear film's happening, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that is actually real.
Yeah, that's currently making by the guy who made Kong Island. I can't remember his name.
But that'll be Konami though, won't it? Like presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a gaming license that's going to be made into the big screen.
I mean, one of the weird things from this story is where it said that there had been a Gran Turismo movie that was going to happen. I was thinking, how would that work? And I don't know, Fast and Furious or something like that. I don't know, but I can't really see.
I guess it'd be like Hot Rod, but slightly less serious.
So anyway,
apparently, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this. So the Shadow of the Colossus film was first announced in 2009, and the guy who produced The Scorpion King was meant to be the producer. But then apparently there was a script that was leaked like last year. I'm sure it's great, and I can't wait for it to come out.
Sorry, that's still happening, is it?
I don't know. It looks like.
Oh my god! And I just find it funny. So it's like, we've seen those films that make $1 billion on each one, and they're like the biggest movie success in years. Yeah, we want to do that. I'm sure everyone wants to do that.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I don't really know. I'm sure they got loads. I mean, I'm sure people will be able to tell us like all the things they could probably adapt. But I don't know. I don't really see the point of this. Is that just me?
Okay. So obviously we've got like a pretty bad history in video game movies, and recently we've had Detective Pikachu, which people seem to be really happy about.
Yeah, it was good.
Sonic coming. We've got Mario coming. So we've had like a generally pretty poor history. But there were tons of amazing games, and maybe with the right people, the right team, the right director, the right writer, they could be a success. We've had like a terrible history, but I don't know. Like, like Last of Us. I think it's an amazing game. I'm looking forward to sequel. I think the story's incredible. Maybe the people behind Last of Us could make a Last of Us movie. Maybe that could work. Who knows? I mean, there's potential. It's just history has shown us that it's not that easy to make a good one.
Yeah.
Well, it's all right. They got Twisted Metal, so I'm sure it's going to be.
It's just bonkers
fine.
that they're doing the thing that Microsoft started or wanted to do in 2013, then canned it, and now Sony are like, yeah, we could do it. But you know,
what
who
do you
knows?
think the chances are of Knack as like a TV series?
Pretty good.
Oh, I think very high. Yeah, yeah.
Everyone loves Knack.
Such a horrible character design. But anyway, okay, so the next bit of news is that Sony and Microsoft are apparently teaming up on cloud gaming. And so this was the thing that came last week, and everyone was kind of shocked and surprised by
This
it.
is huge, I think.
So, and what it is so although they're teaming up to develop new technologies for cloud-based gaming services, this is the idea. And it says, so Sony CEO said that the collaboration is going to contribute greatly to the advancement of interactive content. It's a brilliant soundbite. And what they've done is they've signed this memorandum of understanding to explore joint development of future cloud solutions using Azure. Is it? No, it's Azure. Is it?
Yeah, Azure. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So Microsoft Azure to support game and content streaming services. So this means that it looks like PlayStation Now and everything is going to be moved to that. And obviously, this is bad news for Amazon and maybe Google, but we don't really know. But the weird thing
I'm surprised that they're presumably so anxious about Google Stadia.
I'm not, because I mean this makes sense, doesn't it, from their perspective? I guess. I mean, the surprising thing though was that Bloomberg said that the PlayStation division had no idea this was going on, and that negotiations were being undertaken like above them. But then also this was true for Xbox as well, and Xbox had no idea either that this was happening, which is kind of funny. So. I don't know. I mean, I the only way I can see this is it's being like in sort of two fingers up to Google, really, as being like, you know, these are two established players that are looking to work together so that they can fend them off, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's that, but also it does make sense. I mean, as you touched on there, like almost every big huge startup, you know, basically tons of businesses around the world use Amazon Web Services. Apple uses them. Loads of, you know, almost every single business uses that for their stuff. Microsoft have tons of data centers, and they obviously know gaming, and they're in this sort of section of the market. So it makes sense for someone else to license out or use their platform, use their technology. Just like, you know, Apple use Samsung like OLED panels for their phones, you know, but also on the other hand, they're also taking each other to court for billions of dollars, and they're, you know, doing like shitty adverts to slag everyone off. But they also, you know, in Apple's case, they're using Samsung's parts to make their phones. And this might sound a bit weird because it's not really something that really typically happens in the gaming sort of area, but. It makes sense fully.
Well, I mean, also there's this Tokyo-based analyst David Gibson has said that Nintendo is also considering using like Microsoft stuff for a streaming solution as well. So that'd be interesting if all three of them sort of get into that game together. I mean, but this also feels like, I mean, Microsoft's Endgame. I mean, they were talking about this on the Player One podcast this week, and it's like I kind of agree with this idea that they're moving away from hardware, aren't they, completely? Like their end game is that they just want it to be Xbox is a service in the cloud that they're providing, and it's a store or whatever that you can like play things through. And maybe that's the way that PlayStation will go as well. But using their stuff.
Everyone wants to go there. I mean, like, Apple wants to go there. They just want to sell services to their users with monthly subscriptions. Amazon do with Amazon Prime. Like every company would rather sell services than hardware that costs money to build, to research, to store, to ship. You know, everyone wants. If we can sell services to people, then that's what people want. So it makes total sense, really.
But I still feel that, I mean, especially with this, that like Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo are in a much better position to do this than Google are, because they've got the content. That's the main thing, I just think, is the reason why they're going to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, if Microsoft have the tech behind it, and obviously this deal sort of shows that they do, and obviously they've all got the games and pedigree and history, then yeah, that puts them in a much better stead. Do you think this gives? Do you think this sort of gives them more credence and more belief that Microsoft's xCloud is the real deal, and it really is going to perform adequately? I mean, I would imagine Sony or PlayStation went into Microsoft and said, you know, what can your things do, and they would show them a demo or whatever. And
I mean, yeah, because we know
this must mean that they are good enough for Sony to say, okay, we'll put money behind this. We want this.
Yeah, because we know that like PlayStation Now isn't amazing. So
is that like is that a fact though? Because I see. This is the thing. I keep meaning to try the free trial to see what it's like, because this is something like you hear is like almost like a meme of it. Like it's like that. But then I've also heard from other people that use it that say that it is really good and that it's been like it's really massively improved.
Yeah, it's been a good few years since I've tried it, but then I don't believe they're developing it any further as a platform, right? I think it's pretty much.
Well, no, they have got all the. I mean, they've also like added like downloads to it as well now.
Yeah,
like you can download
but like the
games.
actual like the streaming technology,
stuff,
everything. So basically, my experience of PlayStation Now is I did a trial, and I played BioShock Infinite, and I did the opening sequence, which is really nice, and then as soon as I had to do combat, I was like, nah, this is horrible. I'm not doing this.
I'm going to try it this week because I've got a free trial. I'm going to try it.
I mean, it may have improved, but to me, this sounds more like say sort of PlayStation going to Microsoft, having a look at xCloud and being like, yeah, I mean, we've got this Gaikai thing, but it's kind of shit, so let's let's move over. But I mean, that's pure speculation, really. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting, and obviously with Geico, they own it outright, but they also bought some patents from OnLive, so they may well be using those patents they've got, but layering that on top of this technology that they're going to license from Microsoft. But yeah, it's exciting. I mean, obviously we've known that Xbox has got this infrastructure, Sony don't. So with Sony now leaning on it, it's just a case of the games and the service, really.
Yeah. Okay, next story is Epic's first big sale is having teething problems. That's directly from Eurogamer Stolen. So this was so Epic have had their first major sale with like these big price reductions, but it seems, from what I can gather, because I don't use this obviously, they didn't bother asking developers if they wanted to be included with this. And then the whole idea is that Epic take the hit on the change in revenue. So for the developers, it didn't matter in terms of money. They'd still make the same amount of money. But it did mean that it kind of ruins any sort of plans they had or strategies for how they were going to sell their games. Because, obviously they had plans for, they bring it out at like full price. Then later on, they'll cut the price, whatever. And, so some developers have pulled their games now from the Epic Game Store because they're not happy about this. And, so that's weird. Yeah,
to be fair, that is really dumb. Like when I first heard about this sale, as a consumer, I thought it sounded really cool because obviously it meant it was like cheap games, but not it wasn't even costing the developers anything, which on paper sounded fantastic. Also, this comes like a month ahead of Steam's summer sale, which hasn't kicked off yet. So I was like, all right, brilliant. I'll probably actually have a look, and then. Yeah, so to then find out that actually they just went ahead and did this without telling any of the developers, pretty dumb. I'm sure like this, it will have been in the terms that the devs signed up to, and they've just not realised or never thought Epic would actually just go ahead and do this. But that is quite mad.
What it was it's like you could opt out of this, but then it wasn't made entirely clear that was that you could do it at that moment for this, and so then people weren't happy. But it's I mean, I guess a lot of this is all about it's devaluing games, isn't it? It's that sort of if you're releasing stuff, you release it at different price points for specific reasons, and if that's being taken out of your hands, it's maybe not as good. But it is a bit strange because I mean they were clearly trying to do this, as they said on the Player One podcast, with good intentions. There was like it was like the good intentions sort of thing to this, that to try and win people back or whatever. But it seems to have backfired. I don't know.
Yeah. It's backfired, to devs. I still think lots of people are like, oh, brilliant, £10 off a game, and it also works for pre-orders as well. So loads of people will be getting like games like £10 off. I mean, I think for 99% consumers, they're like, oh, awesome, Epic's got a sale on, I'll get the new John Wick Hex game and some other stuff, and it all works brilliant. Obviously, it's a bit of a shitter for developers, and they really should have Epic should have communicated that to developers much better. Because like you said, because the price of anything, it's about a value, and like if something generally something can cost a lot, and that in itself leads people to believe that it must be a quality product because it costs more money. And whereas if something's very cheap, like, well, why is this cheap? If it's cheap, maybe it's not as good. And so for suddenly like games to be like £10 or 20 or whatever cheaper, that's going to affect how people view that game.
This is what happened to mobile,
shame,
wasn't it? And how it ruined mobile with the
Yeah.
race to the bottom. That you had with
But this
that.
isn't for 99% of games. I don't think they will. Oh, brilliant to sail on.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the bottom line is, I as a result of this, I'm going to check out Hades, and I am going to check out Outer Wilds, not to be confused with Outer Worlds, which is Outer Wilds is this sort of indie. It's like space exploration, but it's like you're in a galaxy that's caught in a time loop or something, and it looks fucking mental. That's not out till the end of the month, but yeah, it's like a tenner now to pre-order it rather than £20, and that's exclusive to the Epic Store anyway, on PC anyways. I think it's on Xbox One as well. But point is, it's like 50% off, so I'd be stupid not to take advantage of that.
Yeah, definitely.
So there you go.
Okay, that's kind of it for the news. But I've got a news section here that I've decided. Well, this is
a
here.
new news section.
Well, it's a new section of the news. Mostly, I mean, this is to satiate like Matt Murray's desire to have press releases. So
how dare you? It's your fucking idea.
So I've created like a new section to just to satisfy that desire to talk about everything that's coming out next week. So this is basically new game announcements that we got here. So this is like some new stuff. I thought what we could do is we could just have a quick like run through to see if there's any reaction. What you think? Yep. I mean, the big deal this week has been the this idea of there might be a Game of Thrones game coming. From
that's
necessarily
not
right.
True, is it?
So it's a game by From Software that George R.R. Martin has collaborated with them on, and it's just this was rumored a while ago, wasn't it? But now they've confirmed that like he has helped them with a unnamed project.
Well, yeah, the rumor now is it's Project DR, and that stands for Dark Rune. It's rumored.
I thought it was GR, wasn't it?
Rune.
Yeah.
Oh, I was great. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll probably get it wrong.
I mean, you can be forgiven for thinking
it does have a code name.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to hear the rumours? Like the bullet point route. So these are all courtesy of Mr. Shy Smile from Discord. He says so. These are obviously none of these are like confirmed, but we've got
Dark Rune. I'm such an idiot. Obviously, when we call Dark Rune, it's so
yeah. Published by he's written Bamco, but I think he means Namco.
People call it Bandai Namco, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. Fully open world, a bunch of kingdoms you can go to in any order, get abilities from killing leaders of these kingdoms, and it might be announced at E3. And then there's also been other rumours that this is going to be at Microsoft's E3 show, and that it's like a Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin thing. Great rune. I don't know, what do you think?
Well, it's interesting because between this, because there were also I was going to say rumours, but it wasn't a rumour. It was actually confirmed. So Ty Frank, who was one of the writers for The Expanse, mentioned in like 2017 that he'd done some writing with From Software. So like, is this like their new thing now that they just collaborate with cool authors? And that's, I mean, I'm all right with it, I think.
To further sort of corroborate this, I mean, so a couple of months ago, there were rumours about this George R.R. Martin game, and then after Game of Thrones ended on Sunday/Monday, he wrote a blog post and he says that he's currently working he's consulted on a video game coming out of Japan. Yeah. So it's not a rumour on his side. It's just who he's working with. But obviously there was a previous rumour about the FromSoft game and him. Now he says he's working on something out of Japan. I mean, feels like it's
I mean, if we're just like naively wishing for things here, if we had a game that was Dark Souls combat, but then it also had you're sorry?
Yeah, tick. Yeah, I'm in. Yeah.
And then it had the sort of the stuff from like Shadow of Mordor, the sort of all different generals, and you sort of
the Nemesis system type.
The Nemesis system, yeah. So
which I can't believe more games haven't copied. I thought
I assume it's copyrighted to fuck.
Yeah, they probably got some patent or something.
But basically that, but combined with sort of Game of Thrones style, like okay, so you are like from like a house, and there are all other houses like vying for power over a world map, and it's all dynamic and cool and interesting. I mean, that sounds like the best game ever.
Yeah,
but that's just me totally like making up what this could be. It's probably not that at all. But that would be amazing.
Do you reckon, if this gets announced at E3, like on the Microsoft stage, do you reckon it's going to be an exclusive? Because I bet it isn't.
I don't know.
I mean, if I was Microsoft, I would put all the money into it to make it exclusive, definitely. But
yeah.
I mean, any exclusive FromSoft game was give it big, and then the George R. R. Martin connection as well. Like,
yeah,
if you're going to put money into a game to get some exclusivity, that sounds like one to go with.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering because I mean, Game of Thrones is also like really, really popular in Asia, and I'm just thinking, are people in Japan going to buy an Xbox just to play this game? Probably
that's possible.
Not,
yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like I say, so between this and between Ty Frank confirming that he's worked with them as well. Like if it turns out they've basically we'll get George R. R. Martin in to do a new dark fantasy thing, and Ty Frank in to do a new sci-fi thing. Armored Core, guys, maybe that'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be well up for that.
What if it's Armored Core written by George R. R. Martin?
I mean, that'd be fucking interesting. I mean, I know that. Christ, I've forgotten his name. The main guy from Software. Everyone just calls him Miz.
What is that?
Miyazaki. Is he Miyazaki?
Yeah.
Like I know he's talked in interviews about doing like a fantasy mech thing, like actually just combining two, because that is a weird subgenre that exists. And I know he is a fan of it, and he's talked about maybe doing something like that. But I don't know if that's. I mean, Game of Thrones isn't exactly that sort of fantasy setting. That there's barely magic in it. It's more about the politics and just people being awful and stuff. So maybe big robots, even in a fantasy way, probably isn't his kind of thing. But then maybe he felt like doing something that's nothing like Game of Thrones for a bit. Maybe that's why he took the job in the first place. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we're still waiting for him to finish the books, and he's got like loads of other projects he says on the works. I mean, why not? But yeah, it's exciting. I guess we'll see what happens at E3 in 3 weeks' time.
I won't, but yeah.
No, you won't, but we certainly will.
I mean, I don't know what you've got planned, but this is certainly fertile ground for making shit up and me believing you, so...
Yeah.
Is it, Sean? Is it?
Okay.
Yeah,
do you want the next? Do you want the next press release?
These were supposed to be quick, weren't they? Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Here's the next press release. There's a Doctor Who VR game coming. Anyone care?
Don't care.
Okay. No, move on.
Sorry, I'm sorry. That's not. I'm sure we've got plenty of listeners who really like Doctor Who. I've never really got it. I'm sorry.
I've never watched one. No.
Okay. Minecraft Earth is coming.
What's this then?
Okay, so this is going to be a free-to-play alternative reality game for like an AR game for like Android and iOS. And
it's Pokemon Go, but Minecraft.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
There's a closed beta coming in the summer, and the whole point is you collect blocks in the world, and then you take part in like mini games in public spaces, and you create like virtual buildings and stuff like that. And yeah, it's like apparently like a more advanced version of Pokemon Go.
So you can essentially build stuff in the real world, but not.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right? If it works, obviously, that's a big if.
But I mean, I played fuckloads of Pokemon Go. The AR stuff was cool in week one, and then I turned it off, and then I didn't use any AR. And also, you can do it wherever you are. The way it looks like, it's like you're holding the phone out and then building it, so it looks like what you're building is in the real world. That's not as like Pokemon Go. You saw thousands of people on the streets playing it, but they're looking at their phones, getting on playing the game. But this feels like it's a much more intense thing where you've got you'll be holding your phone out in front of you to build, and I don't know.
Right, yeah.
I mean, obviously Minecraft is a massive license, but I don't know. It feels like a very, very, very different type of game to Pokemon Go.
Could you go to the house of someone you don't like and just build a giant wall in front of their house that just says "cunt" on it or something?
That, or you could use your pickaxe to knock it down. Maybe, I don't know.
Presumably, I mean, that sort of thing's going to happen, and then there's going to be a moral panic, and it's going to be brilliant.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously Minecraft is massive, but I'm very interested to see what it's like. I'm obviously definitely going to download it, and I've registered and all sorts of stuff. I'm interested to see what it's like. But Pokemon Go is like quite a social thing, but also you can play the game without the real world. This feels like it requires the real world, and building is quite. I don't know. That doesn't feel like such a social thing. I don't know.
I know what you mean. Yeah, that'll just be someone sitting still on a bench. Sitting still on a bench.
Yeah, sitting still. Yeah, that's all right. That's right.
Yeah, and then just being like, I'm just going to do this for ages. and then just tapping away and not like whereas like Pokemon Go was cool because actually like groups of people were going around together and exploring and finding things and sharing information. Whereas this is a bit like, oh, well, I want to build this certain thing, so I'm going to go there and then just do that for half an hour and then go. Do you know what I mean? There's not necessarily like any sort of impetus to be like, right, and now I've done that, I'm going to go here and then do this and then do that. But then, we don't know how it works.
We haven't seen all the details, but again, like, you want it to walk all over the place to, like, hatch eggs in Pokemon Go, to catch new Pokemon, to go to certain areas where someone had dropped, like, a lure to get more Pokemon to go to that area. I mean, maybe you have to walk around to get different materials, so that would maybe make sense. I'm interested.
But no, I like the idea of just being able to go to real-life places and see what people have built. Yeah, because the idea is it all syncs up, right? And you'll see where people have placed blocks in the real world, but just on your phone.
Yeah.
That's sort of interesting.
Yeah, I'm can't wait to see what this is like and if it blows up. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, last press release is that there's a new Pokemon game coming to mobile. Does anyone care?
Hey. No, I think I'm all right.
All right, okay, let's move on. Okay, so that's all of the news and new games stuff.
Cool. Yeah. Right, let's do what we've been playing. I don't think we've got a lot this week. I know we always say that, but we've definitely got even less than usual.
Yes.
I've only got 2 really short ones, so I might just do them now. I haven't played The Messenger, James. I'm sorry, but when we get to yours, if you want to spoil it, go ahead. Don't worry about it.
Well, see, this is the problem because I mean, that's the only game I've played this week apart from Life is Strange 2.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah. Okay.
I don't mind, honestly. Right, okay, so very quickly, I've played AKANE, spelled AKANE, on the Switch, because, there's been a sale on the Switch, and I've bought a load of stuff, but I've just not had time to actually get into any of it. But this was on sale just because it's just come out, and it's only supposed to be like £4 something, and it was 50% off, so it cost me like £2.40, and I cannot believe how cheap it was. Because it's good, it's really good. It's like so like top down, but like at a slight angle. It's one of those. It's a very indie game. It has got cool pixel art. It's a bit cyberpunk. It's really fast paced action game. So you basically waves of enemies coming at you. You're a woman with a katana and a gun. And then, thugs are coming at you either with swords or guns, and you can die in a single hit. And it's basically just taking down wave after wave of enemies. The trick being that if you as you use your sword, you run out of stamina, and then you can't attack with your sword for a little bit. But then equally, if you use your gun, then it runs out of ammo, and you have to kill people with the sword to get gun ammo back. So it's this constant back and forth between you might be in a good position to kill like a shitload of enemies with your gun, but you'll run out of ammo, so you have to get in close. But then you get tired, so you run back out and then use the gun again. And that sort of constant flow between the two is really satisfying and really fun to sort of think about and plan how you're going to take out like groups of enemies and stuff. There's also like sort of mini bosses, which are like sort of slightly tougher enemies that take a few hits to take down. And then, when you so most enemies just like run at you with a sword or whatever. But then, when the enemies with guns come into play, you've either got to like make sure, they'll start targeting you, and it's really clear like when an enemy with a gun is going to shoot at you. It's not just like you just get shot out of nowhere or anything. So you can either make sure that like you're running in such a way that you'll like dodge their bullets, or if you're quick enough, you can deflect them by pressing the block button with your sword. Which is really fun to do because sometimes you can reflect the bullet back at them and kill them. There's bosses. I've only seen the first one because I'm still quite shit at the game. And there's just a shitload of challenges which unlock new bits of gear, which are like different guns or different swords with slightly different attributes. You have like a special move. When you use your sword, you charge up this bar, and then you you press a button, and then you can if you run across the screen and then press the button again, you'll then dash back with your sword out and kill anyone in that sort of path. Again, that's really fun to sort of group enemies together and then use that and take out 10 guys in one go or whatever. And then another one that just like kills everyone on screen, which is really useful for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I've just got a trailer on now. Like, there's a bit where you like move the mouse around everywhere to basically there's a swipes and you sort of stop and then they all end up dead. It looks great. Like the lighting is, as well as like the neon lighting, it just looks really nicely lit and it looks like a gorgeous game.
It's just proper good fun, and it's like £2 something. I mean, I don't know if it's gone up to full price now by the time you hear this, but I mean, even if it has, like even at £4 whatever, it's still an absolute steal as far as I'm concerned. It's like it's not easy at all. You will have runs where you literally like kill like 4 or 5 people and just like fuck up and get stabbed or whatever. But it's great fun.
Yeah, on Steam it's currently $3.99. I'm not logged in. I'm not sure if that changes anything.
Okay, I think it's one of those that's been out on PC for quite a while and it's just come to Switch.
It's £4.49 on Switch at the moment. So,
it is okay.
Yeah, the price has gone up,
like obviously I got it for less and that's great, but it's still well worth full price, I would say. So enjoying that. I've also played the early access version of Nowhere Profit on Steam.
I'm interested in hearing about this.
What is this? I've never even heard of it.
It's really good. It's so it's a roguelike card game. So you start with a deck of cards, but you are like traveling across a map, and you are basically the idea is that you're doing this pilgrimage. So you're moving across points on the map, and invariably each point will involve some sort of battle. There are, it's a bit sort of Banner Saga-ish in that there'll be story events and you might be able to talk your way out of certain things, or you'll be able to stop at like trading posts, and you can get sort of like, so you have like your sort of main character who's like the leader of this group, and then you have all the people who are traveling with you who are your deck, basically. Each, you have all these like cards with characters on them, but then you also have like your like main character has like abilities and stuff, which are like another little set of cards that you can use. And it's just really interesting because if one of your cards, so usually if you play like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone or whatever, you put a card into play, and then if it gets injured or killed, it goes in the bin, but you've still got the card. Whereas in this, if they die in battle once, then they become injured. And if they die in battle again, they're gone forever. That's it. Like for the rest of that particular run, you just don't have them anymore. So like if you really fuck up an encounter, like you can just lose like half your deck or whatever. But what's really interesting is like if a card is injured but not fully dead yet, it's really cheap to summon it in like a subsequent fight while it's still injured. So there's this sort of temptation to be like, if you're about to do a really hard battle and like half of your deck is injured, you sort of be like, yeah, but if I keep them all in my deck and I put them all in play, it'll be really cheap and I might win, but also they might all die. So that's like just a really cool, just giving you that temptation to risk it, basically. It's a really nice way of doing that. And I've only done like one run on it, but I properly enjoyed it, and I'm definitely going to go back to it. I mean, as always, it's one of those, because it's like a card game that's designed for sort of relatively short but frequent playthroughs. Like put it on my phone, and I don't think you'd ever be able to get me off it. Like as a Steam game, it's fine, but I think if they could put it on my phone or on the Switch or whatever, that would be amazing. Like just having it as a handheld game would be so good. But enjoyed that. I don't know when.
So that was a beta you were playing, wasn't
it? Well, I think I'm a bit confused. I think we got a key for the early access version, but there is also a beta on. I think they're separate, but obviously,
right? Okay.
Yeah, so I think there is a beta on at the moment, but I think it ends like when this episode goes up. So I'll be keen to go back to it as they like continue adding stuff. There's like, I mean, as far as I could tell, it wasn't like, it wasn't unfinished. There was like a few assets missing and stuff on the interface, but it wasn't really nothing that like ruined my enjoyment. And it felt like really nicely balanced and stuff. I wasn't like having a bad time with it at all. Really enjoyed it. But I've played a few other things, but nothing like literally like sort of 10, 20 minutes here or there, so nothing I could really talk about.
Have you? I don't think you have, but you haven't finished Astro Boy yet, have you?
No, I haven't. Shockingly. Still not gone back to it. I've like the VR time I've had has been like, because I've been more like as amazing as Astrobot is, I've been more tempted to go back to stuff that actually uses the wands. So just because that's more unique to VR, I guess. So yeah, no, I do need to go back to Astrobot though, because it is amazing.
It is
game of the year, mate.
It literally is a game of the year.
Yeah,
cannot be argued with at all.
Yeah, James, do you want to do yours?
Yeah, because this is the problem. I've got pretty much nothing this week because I was sick and I just couldn't play games. I really just didn't feel like it at all. I mean, I played over the weekend. I did play Life is Strange 2, like episode 3. But we're doing something with that very soon. So
So we are recording the spoilercast this week. In fact, it's like tonight. If you listen to this Wednesday, so it'll be out this week. All things being well. Obviously, could be last minute dropouts, and Dave's got a new newborn child. But yeah, the plan is if we all record on Wednesday night, then this thing will be out this week.
I mean, vague overall thoughts, James?
Uh-oh. Yeah, well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because it's like...
really?
My overall thought... Okay, my overall feeling is that I thought the episode was fine, but I didn't think it was as good as the previous one, to be honest.
Okay. Your episode 2 was better?
Yeah, I really do.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, there was some... obviously, there's some very, very interesting moments in the episode, but... Overall, I still feel that I didn't connect with it as much as I did the previous two, and I'll explain why on the spoiler cast. Because
no, that's fair enough. That's interesting. I was last week I was saying I thought it was amazing. I really loved it. In hindsight, I have sort of thinking it over. There are missed opportunities in the writing, but again, we'll get into that on the spoiler cast.
Are you walking this back, Sean? Is this
I'm not walking it back. I just. Like in hindsight, it's like there are other things they could have done with it, or maybe explored a bit further. Generally, just in terms of the setting for that third episode.
I don't know. I don't want to get into it because it's this is the for the other one. But the only other thing I've played is I've been still playing The Messenger, which I think I'm getting close to the end of it, and I'm still loving it. But I mean, so I can't say anything about this, right?
No, go for it, man. I'm all right. Like, it's my fault. I didn't play it. I'm sure I will still enjoy it.
So should I just reveal what the twist is? Yeah.
Yes, please do.
Okay. So the twist is the game starts in 8-bit. Like you play the whole thing is like in 8-bit style, and then eventually what happens is about maybe about halfway through it shifts to 16-bit style. And so it becomes, and it's quite interesting because then you have like this sort of time travel like mechanic that goes on where you sort of time travel between 8-bit and 16-bit, and the first half of the game is really just sort of like a Ninja Gaiden style like sort of platformer, just level to level. But then after the sort of the shifts, not completely afterwards, but after the shift to 16-bit, it then becomes like a Metroid style game, and you can go back and explore places you've been before. And my main problem, the thing that I'm not liking about it quite as much though, is that it hasn't quite got the sort of depth that I would like from a Metroid style game, and that's partly obviously because it's only half of a Metroid game. If you see what I mean? So it's got like the the wandering around, and it's got the sort of the exploration, but I don't feel that you get the same sort of level of reward that you do in those sorts of games, because usually with those sorts of games, the whole point is that you get new equipment or whatever, which then allows you to explore new areas. You don't really get that in this, because by the time that you get to the point where you can explore, you're pretty much fully kitted out, and it becomes a bit of a fetch quest. Like it's just one fetch quest after another, basically. And although it's still really fun to navigate, it just doesn't feel like you have the same sort of level of reward that you get from other stuff. And it's also, it's quite lengthy. I don't feel bored of it at all, but it does. I'm on maybe my third like sort of fetch quest now. To sort of get to the end, and it's beginning to feel a bit like it's sort of like, there's not enough twists here. There's not enough reason for me to really want to sort of keep exploring, apart from the fact that the combat is reasonably fun. But that's the main problem with it. Is it's just it doesn't feel like it goes deep enough with that, really. But then it's still a very interesting concept because I mean the whole point of the time travel between 8-bit and 16-bit is that obviously like the environment changes when you do this, so you can use this sort of solve puzzles whereby in the 16-bit version of an area like there's like a wall there, but then in the 8-bit version it's not, because it wasn't constructed or whatever, so you have to like sort of figure out. But it's very simple, like the puzzles are not complicated at all, and it still feels a very sort of comfortable game to play in the sense that it's not very difficult at all, and I feel every time I play it I feel like I'm making progress as well, which is quite nice. But it's just, I don't know, I still feel it lacks like a bit of a depth really, but not enough to stop me playing. So I'm hoping I'm going to finish it this week. But I really think you'd like it, Sean. It's cool. Not Hollow Knight. It's not that level at all. But it's still, if you can get it for really cheap or for free or whatever, I definitely have a go and see what you think, because music is still really good, and the combat, as I said, is still quite fun. But it's just not quite as it doesn't have the depth I was hoping it would have. It's which is a shame.
No, I mean, I'm glad you've explained it, because that has just made me more intrigued to try it out.
Yeah,
that sounds really cool. So yeah,
next
week maybe.
Yeah, it's very sort of self-aware as well. It's
okay,
because it's that style of game. It's the dialogue's pretty funny, but
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Is it quite a long game? It's not one of those 8-hour indies. It feels like it's quite a bigger experience than that.
Well, I mean, I've played it now for about, I think, 8 to 9 hours, I think I'm in. And, I mean, the first half, where it's all just like in 8-bit, I mean, I did that in probably about 3 hours or so, 3 or 4 hours. And then now it sort of expands out, and it's been another sort of 5 or so hours. And, as I said, it does feel like it's beginning to drag a bit, which is a shame.
Oh.
And that's it. Fun. I mean, that's all I've played. I've played nothing else because I was being sick.
Normally when you're ill, are you one of those people that can play games? Or
normally, but not when I'm being sick, because if I've got a cold, it's fine. I can usually play games when I'm like that. But when
but who gets sick with a cold? What? Who do you don't do that, do you, James?
No, of course not.
You're not one of those people ringing sick because they got some sniffles.
No, not sniffles. When you've got like, I don't know, not tuberculosis, but when you've got something that's like,
Fucking hell, that escalated. When you've got, a bubonic plague, like.
No, when you've got something like, okay, when you've got something seriously wrong with you, Matt.
Do you mean tonsillitis?
No. When you've got something seriously wrong with you that is not making you go to the toilet every 5 minutes. It's like if it's something else,
like
usually
flu
it's
or
fine.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly, like the flu.
Yeah. Tuberculosis.
Yeah, no, I can't. Usually, if I'm ill enough to not be in work, then I usually can't play games either, because I don't know. When you're ill and you're trying to actually think about stuff, and it's like your temperature starts rising.
Absolutely no chance for me.
So yeah, I usually can't. Which is a fucking shame, because obviously, like, if you had to, having to lie around in bed for several days, being able to just play games and get through the bits of it where you're awake would be ace. And I know, a lot of people who are going through quite serious illnesses do find games really useful. But yeah, I've always found that I'm too fucked.
Well, yeah, normally in like the first day or so. But when you start to come out of it, and then you start to feel quite a bit better, and then you're just like, oh, I could play something now. It doesn't feel so bad.
Yeah. And especially if you've had a stomach bug, you can, you've got the 48 hours. When you first like symptomless, you're like, but I can't actually go back into work for another 2 days yet, because I might still be contagious. So I'd better just stay at home and play games.
Yeah, but I'm still sleepy. Even if I'm better, I'm like, well, I'm at home now. Might as well sleep, innit?
Yeah.
Might as well sleep, baby.
Waste of time, innit?
Yeah. Tuberculosis.
Right, Matt, what have you got?
I got tuberculosis.
Yeah. If you got that, then all seriousness, go and get that checked out, because it's quite serious.
No, I haven't.
Yes.
I definitely haven't. Unless it's quite subtle, I don't know. I don't think I've ever had it.
You can't have it subtly, I don't think. Yeah.
Well, I haven't got it.
It's not a subtle...
it's not a subtle illness.
Well, my grandfather died of it, but
Okay.
Yes.
That took a turn.
Okay.
Matt, what games have you played this week?
So, I'm playing more Days Gone. Still enjoying it. It's a very, very big game. I'm worrying that maybe it's starting to drag, maybe. But I'm still enjoying it. We'll carry on. I guess you haven't played any more, James, no?
No, see, I'm having trouble going back to games at the moment. I really am. Particularly
That's not
games...
like you at all, is it?
Well, it's not, because normally I do go back to stuff. And
normally you finish every game and you rub everyone's faces in it. You
exactly,
can't stop talking about it.
And for some reason at the moment, I just don't feel like it at all. And the only games that I feel like playing are games on like Switch or whatever, because there's less friction using them, isn't there? You just pick it up and just play it. I just can't be bothered to sit down in front of my PlayStation at the moment. That's how lazy and stupid I am.
Yeah, I mean, what I need to make is a portable PlayStation, don't they, really?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Good if they did one of those, yeah.
Does if you got PlayStation Now, would that work on Vita?
Not anymore, no. They got rid of it.
Oh, idiots!
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a Switch. What are you doing?
But it would still have the problem, wouldn't it, of the lack of buttons.
Back touch, yeah. Back touchitis. And Days Gone, still enjoying it, but it's long thing. The thing I'm playing mostly, and it's been a busy week, so I haven't really played that much in the way of games. But I played Everboys Golf VR, the full game, which I believe is out today. I should probably.
Oh shit!
Check.
Is it?
I need to get that. We had like loads of like things we can and cannot say. I should probably check that first. But Everboys, can I just check? Because what's going to happen is I will say something and then I'm like, oh no, you shouldn't have said that, you idiot. You know what?
It's alright, just bleep it out.
I'll be fine. Anyway, I'm playing the full game of Everboys Golf. We talked about this loads on last week, of course, but it's really good to play the full game because also, as we spoke about last week, you can't play a regular hole in that demo. You can go do loads of cool training stuff, but you can't play the full game. In the full game, it's got a lot of things you have known and loved from a standard Everboys Golf. There are 3 courses and there are loads of different options on these 3 courses. You can play 3 holes, and once you play that a few times, I think once you got like near par or below par, unlocks 9-hole and 18-hole rounds. There's like the standard sort of green, sort of like standard golf course. There's like a beach style course. There's some other stuff, and it's just absolutely brilliant. I'm just having an absolute whale of a time. Like as we said last week, it's the vibe, it's the music, the graphics perfectly suit VR. It's still incredibly satisfying to nail like a really long putt. And what I'm doing now a lot, I'm actually like watching a lot of replays of putts. I watch like a bit every now and then on Everboys Golf, but because you can like change the camera angle for those different places, and because you are pretty much because in VR you're fixed on that from that viewpoint. I feel like I'm really enjoying seeing sort of long shots go in from where the camera's right along the turf, and I'm watching as a replays. The biggest difference, obviously, this compared to our demo is the fact that obviously you're playing main holes, and you've got your female caddy with you at all times. And this game has it's made me feel uncomfortable at points, actually.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Go on.
James, you will love this game. This is why, James, I text you.
How dare you? It's
James,
just like...
I text you, right, one night, and let me find a text. And it said, we've texted those. It basically, no, if you get a chance, please play some Everboys Golf VR before the pod. Please. I need you to play it because this is right up your street, as it were. So you have this female caddy. That in itself is, I feel a bit weird. Weird's probably the wrong word. I feel, there's just she's not. How do I put this without it sounding weird? She's not flirting, but there's like suggestive ways she talks to you and stuff, and I don't know. And also, she's right literally there next to you. Anyway, what happens is
what you're saying is a woman stood near you and was halfway nice to you.
Yeah, it makes it feel really uncomfortable. Anyway, but what happens is you'll play like a couple of holes, and then in between a hole, it'll suddenly go like event, and it was like little like I can't remember. Basically, like it says event in the middle of the screen. I'm like, oh wow, am I going to do like a? Am I going to go to a tournament or something? And it will say like event, and then it will say something like bench, or gift, or stuff, and then suddenly you're in like a little scene with your caddy, and so bench one, for instance, of like new event bench. I was like, oh, what's this? And then suddenly you're then sat on a bench in VR again. I played this game standing up, so it was a bit weird because I was standing up, but I was meant to be sat down on this bench. To my left was my female caddy, and she's like, "Oh, for me." And then what happened is my character gave her some chocolates,
Right.
Why'd you do that, Matt?
I don't know. It wasn't me. It just she had some chocolates. She's like, oh, thank you. You know, also you shouldn't have. And she opened a box, and it looked like a box of like 12 Maltesers. You know, no expense spared. And she's like, oh, I don't know the actual dialogue, but she's like, oh, I'll have one. And she just sort of, I don't know, just like delicately took like a Malteser out and put it in her mouth. And it's just like, we are very, very close to this bench. You can't move away. It's just you're there, and there's like a work. She's like, oh, it was weird, right? So I was like, okay.
Matt.
I wasn't expecting this in the game.
But had she done a good job as a caddy?
She had. I'll get onto that actually in a minute. Yeah, so there's that one. There's another one whereby it was, did some holes, suddenly it's like new event, and then you sort of, it like fades back into the game, and I was standing on this tree trunk that was over this ravine, and so basically I'm like essentially balancing. There's like a massive drop beneath me, and she's like, "Oh, I thought this was a shortcut. Oopsie me, oopsie daisy. I better walk back." And it's just, I mean, okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to do at that point. There's another one where
sorry, Matt, I just wish I'd seen you playing this, because I know how uncomfortable you get when women talk to you. And this must have been amazing.
This does sound incredibly creepy, I should say.
It was weird.
This
other one, and I hope there's more, because I hope it's on these others. But the other one, I was you wake up, because it does sort of fade back into the game. You basically wake up in the golf cart. You're in like the right hand side, she's on the left hand side, and she's like, "Oh, we can look at the score if you want." Now you don't need to, because you can look at the score whenever you want. It's not like, I'm desperate to know what the score is in the two holes in the two golf holes that I played so far. And she's like, "Come over here," and she basically asks you to lean in to look to get a better view of the screen, very very close to her. It's just, I can see from here. I mean, the angle on that. Basically, she there's like a little like tablet thing where like, you know, that the sun visor is in like passenger side or driver's side in the car, and there's like a little tablet there, like, just lean a bit closer and look at the tablet, look at the score. I'm like, okay, cool, that's the score, that's fine. Yeah, I'm still 17 over par. That's fine. Okay, okay. And it just fades back into the game.
So I mean, this does sound weird as fuck.
Those bits are weird, but James, you'll gather right on.
I'm just buying it right now.
Yeah,
I mean, I probably am going to pre-order it, but not because of the stuff that Matt's just described.
I mean, they're all a bit weird, and but I'm sort of hoping there's more of those weird scenes, because it's very weird. I mean, maybe if that was like, if it's non 3D, non VR, and it was as we played everybody's golf game, then that won't be an issue at all, because it's just like, you know,
I don't know. It still sounds pretty odd.
Yeah, I guess, but it's like you're there, and they're like life size and right next to you. It's just like that.
Do you think maybe this is just a bit of an uncanny valley thing? Like, if it was a stupid chibi style character just saying stupid shit, you'd be like, yeah, whatever, skip that. But because it's a realistic looking person who sat next to you in VR, suddenly it's like, oh, this is really jarring that you just being weird. It doesn't
look realistic at all. I remember playing the thing. It doesn't look realistic, man.
You know what I mean? Like, compared to the way everybody's golf normally does people, like they're like realistic proportions. They're like a normal sized person.
I mean, I think they're generally the same style. It's just the fact that they are like the same height as you, and you can get close to them or further away. But that actually makes a huge difference on the course, which is something, again, without VR, I wouldn't have ever even like thought about this, but it's not terribly easy. Hitting the ball always. I mean, it does take like a few like practice swings, and putts are generally fine. But if you want to do like a massive like swing with the wood golf club, then some you'll miss and stuff. And I've obviously had like dreadful rounds where I've been like miles over par, and in a regular game, you fuck up a shot and whatever, it doesn't matter. But because you've got this woman, this caddy, just like off, just sat in front of you, she's like, I think you can do it this time, and you like really balls up, and she's like, oh yeah, okay, we'll better on next time. And
Matt, I've also just discovered something which should make you feel a bit better. There is an additional caddy called Steve.
Yeah, I've heard there's another Steve. I heard there's a Steve caddy.
So just go out with Steve. Then you've got no problem.
Yeah, I maybe. Anyway, so I'm on the course. So I'm sort of like absolutely screwing parts left, right, and centre because I'm still getting the grips of it. And yeah, it makes me feel a bit like, oh, I've really embarrassed myself in front of my caddy, and I wouldn't have that feeling normally if I was just playing a game, because who cares? It's like some computer character, but because she's like looking at me and she's like, "Come on, you can do it," and it's like, "Oh no, you didn't do it, did you?" It's like, "Oh, for God, Christ's sake, I need to go back and practice." This is so embarrassing. And then like maybe if you've had, I didn't say 3 holes or 9 or 18, once you get your score, and it's like really bad, and she's like, "Oh, you got 7 over par. It's okay." So, oh, fucking hell, wow. She really is, okay, give me the cold shoulder. This is, okay, I get it. I'm shit. I get it. I'm shit at golf. Okay? Yeah.
I mean, this sounds, as I say, I'm still going to pre-order it. It's out, tomorrow it's out.
Oh, okay, cool.
So today, by the time you hear this, audience. But this stuff does sound a bit odd.
It's all, but fundamentally, like it is such an incredibly fun game. I absolutely love it. Like I'm maybe exaggerating at points, but everything I've said actually is true. It's just maybe it isn't so weird for most people, and maybe it isn't weird for me. It just made me feel this the chocolate eating. I was like, why is this happening? Why ask me to lean closer to see a score? I can
should done with Steve.
Yeah, well, leaning into Steve will be fine. That's yeah. Anyway, regardless, it's an amazing game. I think it's like £25 brand new.
It is, yeah.
25.
And it just feels so fucking good. When you make a part, when you do an awesome drive, it's got all the great qualities of Everybody's Golf that we've loved on, PS3 and Vita and PS4 before this version. But in VR and it's just so immensely fun. Yeah, the only thing it's got against it that we spoke about last week was lack of multiplayer currently. If they add that in, and we're not asking for a lot. Literally, it's like a floating dot. Just I want to be able to have like a chat with like my mates playing it. We're all enjoying like the VR. I don't need to see like a working character model walking across the green with me or anything.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like
it could be really
basic,
bare bones, and it would still be
But
absolutely.
no, I'm absolutely loving it, and I'm going to keep playing it. It's like a really nice like chill out game. Even if after like a fair few swings my arms are hurting and I'm a little bit sweaty, and then I'm sat on a bench like feeding chocolate to a caddy I've never met before. It's also quite slow in the menus. Like the first time you play a demo, you're like, let's go to play your first round, and you go there. She's like, "Hey, my name is," and I can't remember her name, but my name is whatever. And then she'll say, "I'm going to be your caddy today," blah blah blah. And that basically happens every single time you go out on the course. You can hold down circle to like stop.
So
that.
you should be saying like, "Come on, we've got history. We've eaten chocolates together."
I fed you chocolate yesterday, and I got in closer to view the tablet, and we balanced across a ravine. Like, it's like, "Hey, I'm Thing. Like, let's get on the course." Like, I don't need to see it. You can hold down a button to like get rid of that, and then once you finish like the round, it'll say, "Let's have a look at your scores," and then it's not instant. You can see the scores instantly because they're directly in front of you, but you got to like wait a few seconds for the menus to catch up and stuff. But no, fundamentally it's still an amazing game because it's Everybody's Golf, and it's just absolutely class in that regards. The VR adds an interesting element that I hadn't really anticipated before, particularly in terms of embarrassment and weird feeding. But you should both play this, and I'm interested to play it more this week if I find time to see what other exciting adventures I'm going to get myself into with my caddy. James, you're going to love this.
I can't wait to play it. To be honest, now it's
I think James and I have both pre-ordered it as we've had this conversation.
Yeah,
but definitely not in responce to the creepy stuff. I mean, I'm intrigued to see it.
I'm going to be using Steve.
I'm expected to be weirded out by
it's not creepy at all, Matt. You're just a weirdo, and maybe that's definitely the case, regardless of this. But still an amazing game. My God.
Good.
And that's it. It's been a busy old week, so we haven't played much more, sadly.
Cool. Emails then.
Okay. If you want to email us, it's podcast@thecomputergameshow.com. Pangram Soup has done so, and he says, there seems to be a continuous stream of bad news stories within the games industry about toxic and negative work practices, from sexism and bullying claims at Quantic Dreams, the walkout from Riot Games, PTSD at NetherRealms, Randy Pitchford being Randy Pitchford, all the crunch stories, most recently from Epic, and I'm sure that there are many more examples. Do you ever think about how we, as gamers, indirectly enable this by continuing to buy video games? And secondly, are there any studios that you know of that a spotlight can be shone on as a shining example of good working practices, customer engagement, and looking after the staff, etc.?
I mean, yeah, like this has been a thing for a while that gamers are very shit at voting with their wallets, right? The amount of times that like people have said they're going to boycott stuff and then they just buy it anyway because they want the game, is pretty embarrassing. Yeah, we've always been shit at that, and even though we're becoming more and more aware, like I don't know if this is a thing of like conditions getting worse or just it being reported on more now, but yeah, like it's starting to feel less. I don't know what's the word I'm after. Like personally, I'm starting to feel more responsibility to think about this stuff and maybe consider not funding people who are, notoriously bad at, with their staff or whatever. Like we know this stuff is avoidable. It is like enough studios have proven it. That said, Pangram Super's asked for examples. I am struggling to think of any at the moment.
Yeah, I can't remember examples. I mean, you say it's avoidable. I would say crunch isn't avoidable, but how they deal with it is avoidable. Absolutely. I think every studio there'll be crunch because everyone wants to get the game out yesterday, and there will always be crunch. I mean, and we talked about this before. It's not just games in like creative industries, in marketing agencies, in film, TV, everything. There will be crunch.
What's the difference? Because I know the term sprint rather than crunch is popular. That is a different thing, isn't it? It's not quite the same.
Yeah, a sprint. If you're working, it's like a method. Working agile, where you have like 2 week sprints to basically get certain parts of a website or an app or something built. It's different, really. Okay. But crunch is still like a term that's used, and that's going to go on forever. That's not going to stop. It's the stuff like, I mean, like the Riot Games, the arbitration stuff is different. That's very different. Obviously, PTSD at NetherRealms, again, that's specific to the sort of games that company does. Randy Pitchford being Randy Pitchford, it is what it is.
Specific to Randy Pitchford.
But in terms of voting with their wallet, this is not just a gamer thing. I mean, just think like not just gamers, but people want things yesterday, basically. So if you think about crunch and Epic and Fortnite and people working all hours a day because people want or demand loads of updates and changes, nerfs and fixing this, fixing that. That happens in games, but also people demand same day delivery at Amazon and so on and so forth, and they're like, well, why is my game shipped? I bought this yesterday or this and the other. And like obviously Amazon's work practices are, there's been loads of discussions and like reports about that being terrible. So people in the modern era, people just want and expect things straight away. Like that's. And that's the stuff why we're having like same day delivery and like instant downloads and like streaming shows and this, that, and music, because people want things now. People don't want to wait.
That's all true, but it's also just the way that everything is structured is also a massive problem with this. It's not just the fact that people want things now; it's also the fact of the way people are treated in their workplace and everything. It's
and I'm not saying you can't obviously you need to protect employees and companies even with these demands of like the modern consumer. But I'm saying like should we as gamers, as Pangram Soup says, like should we as gamers do we think about how we enable this by continuing to buy video games? We can stop. We can, we should stop like buying stuff from Amazon and this and the other and this and the other. Sadly, that's just the way the world is, and hopefully, it's about responsibilities as a company to protect their employees to make sure this is carried out in a safe manner. But I don't know, it's tough.
I mean, presumably toughening up of employment law would be a fucking start, right?
That's the thing, definitely.
Yeah.
Companies will still find workarounds and loopholes, but absolutely, like much stricter.
We can make it harder for them
issues,
to do so. Yeah. Because I think there's like, living in the UK, there's like an expected, like people forget that like we if people hadn't collectively decided to make things better for us, then they never would have been, right?
Exactly.
Like we've talked before about like, oh well, like my phone was made in China. With people in terrible conditions, but hey, that's just their culture. They like to work loads. That's fine. But it's like, but it would still be like that here if we hadn't all decided, like, actually, no, let's stop that because we've decided it's wrong. And like, I think people forget that we could just slide back into that.
Yeah,
if we chose to. Like, it's
also,
not just a given that we are protected and have decent working conditions and all the rest of it. You know what I mean?
And it doesn't have to be this way either. Like, it really doesn't. It's just, and the idea that this is like sort of, this is just the way the world is and all that kind of thing is bullshit, because it doesn't have to be like this. It's just that we allow it to be like this because maybe it's convenient for us at the moment, and maybe it's fine for us, but for other people maybe not. And as Sean said, in the past, this is what people have done. Eventually people have to stand up and change things. It's the only way.
So, I mean, it does seem like it's just more and more every week. There's stories of like, I mean, so obviously on the one hand you've got like Rockstar, but then that was never a scandal, right? There was no
well,
there was no like mass walkout. There was no protest. There was nothing. No, whereas with Quantic Dreams and Riot,
they didn't read the room, did they? Because they kind of came out and sort of were like almost like proud of like saying how we've worked this hours, and then everyone was like, "Hang on, that sounds awful." It's just which is
a different league to like Quantic Dreams and Riot Games, where we've had walkouts and lawsuits and all the rest of it.
But if I remember correctly, with the Rockstar stuff, there were reports and like people were like, "Well, yes, I'm working ridiculous hours, but I'm happy because I know I'm working on a quality product." And like, I think if you know you're working on something that's gonna be mind blowing, you don't mind going an extra mile. Obviously, there's laws and rules against that to protect employees, but I think
I was going to say, like,
I don't mind, and I actually came to this place to work on the best products, and I know I'm working on the best products, and if I have to work
this is the thing, isn't it?
How much of that is also manipulation? Like,
exactly,
it's
and like, do people who feel that way need protecting from themselves, or should they be allowed to
definitely,
like,
I speak as someone who's done that myself, absolutely, because.
Yeah,
but also, I mean, as you said, like the idea of like gamers voting with their wallets is like I don't think that is I never really have felt that that's a terribly viable strategy, for dealing with things.
No way. Demonstrably, it's not, because we just don't do it, do we?
I mean, it like the people that are really like affected or see these sort of reports or engage in this sort of like discourse, that's really only like what I would class like the hardcore, the people that are really into it. Like the mainstream aren't going to change their minds. The mainstream aren't going to not buy things because they maybe don't care or don't read this. So even if like a small subsection of the hardcore audience decide to vote with their wallets, they're still not going to change anything really.
And this is why the stories that are revealed like by journalism and stuff are really important, because then it does raise, I hate saying this, but it raises awareness of the issue that then may get governments interested, or it may get employment agencies interested in the fact that something does need to be done about this. That something.
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, with all these reports from like Jason Schreier and the Polygon one about Fortnite. There are, I mean, the more people speak out, the more reports come out. That's only going to hopefully work to protect employees, because companies will feel pressure to do better by themselves and by their employees. So hopefully, the more reports, the more like leaks or rumors or discussions or whatever's happening, walkouts. That's only hopefully going to help.
So, I mean, that's worked with Facebook, isn't it? I mean, if you did you see that news story the other day about how Facebook are like, they're not struggling, but they're not getting as many like graduates that want to go and work for them now, and it's just because there's an overwhelmingly negative like sort of like air around the company.
Yeah, definitely.
It's,
and like, because obviously, we're sort of talking about voting with our feet. You hope that people who are looking for jobs in the industry also have the ability to do that. Like, and there are opportunities at companies that treat people well, and they don't have to take that job at Epic or Quantic Dreams or whatever. You hope that the choice is free enough for them as well as consumers.
But then, as we all know, it's like often you don't have choices, do you?
Exactly.
You have to do what.
No, again, like, if you need a job and like you get there's a job offer at Riot Games, you may have heard about all this stuff, but fundamentally, if you're like, well, I can get a job I've always wanted to do,
job's
people are going to take it. It's tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I mean, if any listeners know of any devs that are like known for having good work practices, I'd be keen to hear about it.
Yeah, the one we can mention recently, I guess, like Respawn said that they're not going to they're not going to update Apex a lot because they want to be a bit more humane. I mean, I read that comment and I was like, it may be true, and that's awesome. But also, it's all like playing like
that's like marketing as well.
Yeah, like the discourse is all these studios are shitheads because they're marking off their staff, and some say, you know what, we're not doing that because we care. I mean, maybe I do, and hopefully I do. But also, it's a bit like, okay, we.
It's like, you shouldn't get a gold star for that, like for respecting your employees.
Yeah, we're not making our staff to 100-hour week, so.
Yeah, so it looks like we're the good guys.
Yeah,
I remember years ago. I mean, they have since shut down, but the studio that made the Buzz games, the sort of quiz games on the PS2, where you had the little, the controllers. So this must have been early noughties, I guess. An interview with someone who ran that studio, and he was saying like he was really strict about. Like people going home at 5:30. In fact, I think the quote was like, people start here and they're all really upset when you tell them like, no, we don't play games over lunch. Because normally it's like quite common if you work at a dev or whatever, like, oh, let's all play. Like, I mean, again, this is going back a while. So let's play Quake 2 or whatever when we're supposed to be having lunch. And then, so he's like, no, we don't do that. But then when you tell people they can leave the building at 5 p.m, they're like, what? That's ridiculous. And it's like, because you have your half hour for lunch, you eat some food, you get some fresh air, then you crack on, and then you go home at a normal time. And after a while, people are like, oh my God, I'm getting my life back. This is amazing.
Yeah. And that is massively important for like the culture and happiness of the employees. Yeah,
totally. So that was interesting reading that, that long ago, and how, we're still in this position now. I mean, as I say, the developer folded, but I don't think that was anything to do with the way they treated the staff. I don't know what they did after the Buzz games. I mean, if that was all they did, then I can see why maybe that dried up.
Yeah.
But, So that was an interesting
Or maybe
example.
if they worked till 5:30, maybe they'll still be around. Is that what you're saying?
I'm going to find out who that was. Carry on, and I'll...
shall I read the next one, yeah?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris O'Regan. He's back. Yeah. Hello, good people at TCGS. During your latest episode, you made mention of gaming chairs and how pointless they seem to be. At least that's the gist I got from the conversation that you had. Like you, I was of a similar opinion, and so I sat in one during EGX 2017 as I was playing a demo. As I did so, I was shocked at the level of lower back support the chair provided. The chair actually promoted good posture and was a revelation to me. I soon bought one for myself, and I can honestly say it has improved my experience when playing PC and streaming console games no end. In fact, James can attest to this when he streamed Juiced from my setup a while back, so I was confused as to why he didn't chime in supporting them, but he was probably more focused on trying not to die. That's true.
So go on, James.
I had completely forgotten about that, actually, and I remember commenting on it being a nice chair, and it was nice to sit in.
This is the thing, right? So we were taking the piss out of game, or I was definitely taking the piss out of gaming chairs last week. I'm not against the idea of nice chairs. In general,
you're not anti-chair. You're not chairist.
I'm not anti-nice chair. I just the ones that look like they've been pulled out of a race car or whatever just seem a bit OTT to me. I'd rather just buy like a nice chair from IKEA or whatever instead. But that's me.
So you're a secret chair lover, are you, James? Is that what's happened?
It was fine.
Chris O'Regan has outed you as a secret chair lover.
It was very comfortable. I mean, it was certainly more comfortable than what I'm sitting on at the moment for streaming, which, I mean, every week I complain about it. It's hurting my back.
Exactly. I mean, yes, like the idea of, in inverted commas, gaming chairs seems, a little bit silly, but also I need a good chair. I don't care if it's a gaming chair or not. And actually, I've looked at ones from IKEA. The nice one's like 175, 200 quid. Or I can buy like a gaming chair from Amazon for 60 quid, which looks like
it's not going to be as good though, is it? For 60 quid?
Yeah, but it probably do a job.
I mean, to be fair,
compared to what I'm on now.
Having just argued that I'm not anti-chair, I am actually thinking of just converting to a standing desk at home.
Oh, yeah. I mean, probably not home. I mean, I love one for the office at work.
Yeah.
I don't know about
I just feel like, because so often my time like doing stuff on the PC is like while I've got Isaac running around in the living room. So it'd be really nice to just be able to like walk over the desk, do something for 2 minutes, and then Isaac's like about to drink some bleach or whatever, and I can just. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like getting up and sitting down again at the desk. Yeah. It's just like there in the room, and I'm just on my feet. Like that really appeals to me. But it's been an absolute nightmare. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of me trying to get a decent standing desk.
But what is wrong with the IKEA one they do?
So basically, I don't want one that like adjusts. I don't know, like I just want one that's like permanently standing. So actually, what I want is like a bar table, but then you often can't get those without like 4 stools or whatever. I don't want any stools. I just want to stand.
Off my IKEA, adjusting it to the level you want, and then not touching the adjust button.
No, because I'm still paying for the fact that it adjusts, but I don't ever want to adjust it. Do you see my point?
You might do that one day.
So I've just discovered, I think, what I want to get. It's called the Play Seat Evolution.
God.
Yeah, that sounds exactly right up your street,
250 quid, and it's even got a little table at the front, so I can put like a pint of cream on there, or whatever, while I'm doing the streaming. And or you can put like, steering wheel and stuff on it. It looks terrible.
Great.
And it's 250 quid.
It was Relentless Software who did the Buzz games, by the way, and they did in their sort of later years they did a few different things, but obviously it did not pan out. They haven't done a Buzz game since 2010.
I never played those Buzz games, but I thought the people who worked on that got moved into like those PS4 games, and it's like a party mode type thing. I think there's like a detective game, and they weren't called Play Anywhere. They'll play something in that you can log in with your phones.
Okay. Oh, apparently they did a game called The Trace.
Yeah,
so it's available for
game?
iOS, and okay. Yeah. Maybe that's it. Who knows?
James, I'm looking at this now. You should definitely get a Play Seat Evolution.
Yeah.
I want to see you in that, playing,
playing Deadly Premonition.
Yeah, in a sick gaming chair.
Jesus. Right, what else we got?
That's it for
that's it for
emails.
Yeah.
Let's go on to tweet. It's at ComputerGamePod on Twitter if you want to tweet us. Let's go.
Matt, hang on. What? Are you planning to go through every single one of these?
We've only been recording for an hour and a half.
Yeah, James, what's your beef?
I know we wanted a bit of a short one, but...
I know, exactly, and I'm just worried this is going to get extended now.
It's extended to a standard length of a podcast. It's 10:05.
I know, it is, to be fair, it is a bit earlier. It's, Go on, get with it.
Okay, right. Okay.
You're going to let him read out the questions?
Yeah, you're going to this is only delaying it, James. It's only delaying it. Could have been done already if you hadn't mentioned that. Steve Chambers, at GTownSteve on Twitter. With last week's Mario Maker 2 Direct in mind, can we get a stream of James playing selected listener levels with some crazy hard Kaizo levels post-release? I reckon that'd be great, James, because you obviously love your platformers and your Mario games.
I would actually do
the idea of listener, or just say if not listener, but like randomly created levels of Mario Maker every week. You struggling to get through them or not struggling would be brilliant.
Yeah, I'd love to be up for doing this. Actually, it looks good.
I'd love to do a co-op stream as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know we didn't cover this in the news. Did you guys all watch the Mario Maker 2?
I did, yeah.
Direct?
Why wasn't it in the news, James?
Well, to be fair, there was no news as such about it, other than it looks fucking great.
Yeah,
it
does look good.
Properly impressed. Like I've never been fussed about Mario Maker. I've never got into like ROM hacks and stuff. So yeah, and plus obviously the last one was on the Wii U, and then it was on the 3DS, which neither seemed like quite right for it. Whereas this is actually going to come out on an incredibly active and popular piece of hardware. So. They've added like a campaign mode, which is still the people who make the Mario games, but sort of doing things that they wouldn't get to do in a normal Mario game, things that are a bit weird, and getting to try lots of like weird ideas. So yeah, I'm suddenly really excited, and it's got online and local co-op play, which looks like it would break it completely. I guess you have to do levels that are specifically designed for co-op.
Yeah. Maybe we could do that. Sean.
Excited.
Maybe we could string together or something, like do a co-op. Of something like
for that.
So is it co-op creating as well as co-op playing?
I think it's just co-op playing. It's creating as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the direct. It looked fantastic, and I was like, I'm never going to create a level. I just thought, no, it's probably not for me. But when it's their campaign mode, I was like, okay, well, if I can play loads of cool Mario levels, then actually that's probably the bit that 99% of people aren't bothered about. But I was like, actually, that makes me interested in getting a game and actually playing through loads of crazy levels. But I don't think I'm going to make my own levels.
You don't have to. I mean, I made quite a few levels the Wii U version, Sean, was great. It was very good, actually. And also, there was a lot of content as well that, people, despite the tiny user base of the Wii U, it seemed like everybody owned it because all the time there was new stuff. Like there was new levels, like daily. You could just go on there and there's new stuff. And I mean that's what's really exciting about this. Like you said, there's going to be should be even more people like creating really interesting stuff. And I mean I used to just sit there like watching TV and just sort of like make stuff. And it's a very sort of relaxing thing to sort of to do. Although the levels themselves can be horrendous.
All the features they've got that look absolutely brilliant. It looks fantastic. Where's that? That's out. So is that soon or is that summer? When's that?
End of June. It's soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Soon.
And there's like a pack with a stylus, isn't there? Which I imagine obviously is going to make it a lot easier to make these things rather than pad or finger.
Yeah, probably worth having. Because you forget that the Wii U just had a stylus, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Whereas the Switch doesn't. I bought one. I've got a stylus for my Switch just for when I was playing a lot of Splatoon 2. It was good for doing drawings for the sort of Miiverse style stuff. So I have got one, but I can't see myself making a lot of stuff with this. But I'm really excited about it.
But yeah, the idea of like you two either creating a level together on the stream or playing listener or other levels is brilliant. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Stansel at _Stansel. This week I've been playing mostly old Xbox games on my modded 360. Naughty. I largely skipped the system at the time and have fallen head over heels in love with Outrun 2. What did you think of it? And what are your other fave arcade races? And can you recommend any more original Xbox games?
I mean, in terms of the original Xbox, you've pretty much gone in at the top there with Outrun 2. I don't know if there's much else.
Project Gotham. Come on.
Was that good? I never got into Project Gotham.
MASH is on the original Xbox. One of the greatest racing multiplayer games of all time. Fact. I mean, all you need is that over. Did you both play it? MASH?
I'm aware of it. I've never
James,
really played it.
Did you play it?
I don't think I did.
It's basically sort of like a Micro Machine style game. MASH Fully Loaded was the version you get on Xbox, and there's loads of tracks and stuff. But basically, everyone just played the one track, which was the ice oval. It's like straight up, straight down, basically, and obviously if you hit the back of the screen, you're out. You get weapons as well, and also once you're out or die or whatever, you then have a crosshair which you can then use to fire and shoot at other people still racing on this map. What utterly incredible game. MASH Fully Loaded was unbelievable. That's one of my all-time favourite racing games. It's the amount of times I've played that one map in multiplayer, laughed our heads off. I think MASH Fully Loaded is what it's called. Get that.
I mean, looking at, these are going to have to be games that are backwards compatible, presumably, yeah?
Because he's playing on a 360.
Okay, so hang on, how many were there that were compatible with that? There were like a whole bunch, wasn't there? That worked on that.
Yeah, I think they are adding more and more original Xbox games, that is.
But there were, because I really like the original Xbox. I mean, it was one of my favourites from before. I mean, Jade
mine,
Empire. Jade Empire is still definitely worth playing. That was brilliant. I mean, that was when BioWare were really good. And I mean, there's also. Do you remember Stubbs the Zombie?
Yeah.
Oh
definitely.
yeah, that was a weird game.
Yeah, weird, but yeah.
The original MotoGP was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're probably still good now, but yeah. Halo
and
1.
Jet Set Radio Future.
Everyone slagged that off, and I've never understood why. I thought it was really good.
I told you it gave me rage, but it was still a very good game. It was, I still very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, totally.
There's a Sega Rally on Xbox as well, original Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I thought that was 360.
It was original. I thought it was original Xbox one. Oh no, yeah, right, yeah, it is 360, yeah. But anyway, if you got a 360, play that as well.
Yeah, Crimson Skies, also another favourite everyone loves. That was that was good. And there's Panzer Dragoon as well came out on it. The Auto, which was good. And Blinks, obviously, is probably worth
Blinks
looking
the Times FIFA.
There's always Brute Force, classic. Have I ever told you I know the guy who did the box art for that?
No, didn't know that.
And it's great because he's now like a really successful, like he does stuff for like Cadbury's and like movie posters and all sorts of shit. Like just does 3D modeling for a living, but he's really fucking good at it. But I like to keep him humble by reminding him that he did the box art for Brute Force on the Xbox.
Really keep him grounded. Also, Time Splitters 1 and 2 were on Xbox, the original Xbox.
They were, and I think they were the best versions as well, weren't they?
Yeah, please play that and let us know what it's like, because I have such amazing memories of the first. I'm not sure it was the first or second one. I'm very sure it was the first, but Time Splitters back in the day was just so bloody good.
It was, but we played it recently and it hasn't held up.
I was going to say, is it one that's best left in the past?
So is it THQ Nordic they've got the license now?
They've got license to everything, haven't they?
Yeah, they have got license. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a THQ Nordic E3 conference in the next couple of years. They've got so many IPs that they could do that.
But how many of them can they actually do stuff with?
And also they haven't actually announced anything since they bought them all. But
there you go.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, I can see them doing that. But yeah, I mean, they've got Time Splitters IP. They're going to bring it back shortly at one point. Maybe for new Xbox. Remembers it. We're Andre Gushwend on Twitter. With the very imminent release of Total War 3 Kingdoms, I really want to hear James' opinions on how China will or has reacted to it, and specifically the Yellow Turban Rebellion DLC, since a people-led uprising aiming to oust the corrupt elite for a democratic monarchy is not exactly what I would call party line.
Okay. How long do you want me to talk about?
20 minutes?
No, I'm not. Matt, I'm not prolonging this just so we can hit some. Yeah. I've just had a look. You're just trying to get it to like 2 hours exactly. Like that's your scheme.
Let's just get on with it.
Well, no, because the thing is, right? I mean, I'm not at the moment. I'm not aware that there is any reaction to this yet. What generally happens with this kind of thing, from my experience, is that there won't be any reaction to this unless somebody notices something. And then it will become a deal, because that's usually what happens. It's like nobody says anything or does anything, and then suddenly there's something somebody notices, and then it suddenly becomes a huge thing, and then it gets banned off Steam or something like that, or usually that kind of thing. I mean, what is interesting? I mean, a game like Total War, like anything that's looking at history, is a big problem, because like one of the party's like key concepts is like that you have to control, like you control. Like history, like you control the way that history is taught to people, and so that you can have your own narrative of what of how history is like evolved. There's like the specific ways that this is done, and that would certainly be the case for something like this. But as I said, unless somebody notices something like this, then things go under the radar. People don't really care. But it's just whether somebody notices it and gets upset about it is usually the thing. It's I
mean. So literally every single Dynasty Warriors game starts with the Yellow Turban Rebellion, but you don't really get a sense of Dynasty Warriors is not a documentary. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
there's no real sense of what the Yellow Turbans are trying to achieve. Yeah. So there's no real political level to it. It's very much just like, these are the bad guys in the first level. Just go and kill them. So I don't think there's anything for the Chinese government to get upset about within that.
I mean,
but I assume Total War 3 Kingdoms handles it a bit more maturely than that.
But I mean, it's also, I mean, the thing is that the government is also not like opposed to like highlighting like revolutions and rebellions that have happened before to like prove like legitimacy as well. I mean, you have, I mean, more recently, because it's been the anniversary of the May 4th movement, which was like a protest in 1919, which is like obviously 100 years ago, where. I mean, this was like an anti-imperial, like anti-Republican China sort of movement that was to try and sort of fix all the problems there were in the country. And the Communist Party takes a lot of legitimacy from the May the 4th movement, because a lot of intellectuals came from that who then joined the party later, etc. And but then what's interesting about that is you've got like Xi Jinping, the leader, who will say they'll talk about like the May 4th spirit. And this idea that you have to sort of like respect these people that were protesting for what they thought was right, but that was then, and don't do that now, because actually everything's fine now, and there's no need to to do the same sort of thing. Really, it's I mean, one of the main like the facets of like the May 4th movement was this focus on like the people, the intellectuals that were involved in it. One of the main sort of buzzwords they talked about was like they wanted to introduce like Mr. Democracy and sort of Mr. Science to Chinese society to try and fix everything. But it's one of those things that's now sort of airbrushed away, that it wasn't really that. And this sort of thing, it's all about controlling history. If you control history, then
Mr. Science, is that like a... Go on? What is that?
It's not. It's just like a concept, like the idea that you have to introduce like sort of scientific method and everything into
it wasn't like
society.
A Mr. Motivator style thing.
No. It's just, this. But then what they do is they focus on the idea of Mr. Science, but not the Mr. Democracy side of things, because obviously that's more sort of problematic and difficult. But yeah,
shame. Right, Darren Goget at Desmond. As we're all parents and constantly knackered, how to keep playing different stuff all the time and generally how long for? I'm in a funk at the moment and really can't be asked with starting anything new, just relying on old favourites.
I'm with Darren at the moment because that's how I feel at the moment as well. It's
I mean, this week, I mentioned I've not really played anything. I've played loads of Destiny 2 again. It's it's that same thing. Just, you want the familiarity sometimes, and then you spend an entire evening on Destiny 2, and then you're like, I did enjoy myself, but I really should have played something new instead. And just for my own sake, as well as the show and everything, I know we talk about the pressure of playing new things for the show every week, but there is a benefit to that. I think it's good for me personally to always be pushed into trying new things out or making sure I've played something different every week. And I do miss that. Like I say, I even though I really enjoy my time with Destiny 2, I've never been one of those people who can just be like, this is my game and this is all I care about now. For several months or whatever. I'll have certain sort of mainstays, but I still need to be able to sort of flit around outside of that. So I'll spend an evening on Destiny 2 and enjoy it, but then have this sort of weird, self-loathing is a bit strong, but this sort of vague regret, I should have just done something else and something fresh.
What feels worse, a whole evening spent on Destiny or having McDonald's? Which one has more guilt afterwards? You're like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that shit.
McDonald's has legitimate health implications as well, so...
Yeah, but you also feel fucking great if you're, tired or a bit run down. You're like, I saw this. Massive Mackies. You feel What was that?
What was that?
James?
that was
Can't you explain yourself?
James, what was that?
You're busy.
I was just opening my podcast app and I was just trying to click on a description to look at something.
What, you're listening to a podcast while you're recording a podcast?
Continue.
Unbelievable. Yeah, anyway. But if you're knackered at McDonald's, helps, doesn't it? But you do, as long as you feel like, oh...
Yeah, and sometimes, McDonald's is just what you need, even though it's shit. It just hits the fucking spot sometimes. And the same is true for, Destiny or whatever. But... I suppose the thing is with McDonald's, it's like you're at a motorway services or you're struggling for time and you need something quick or whatever. There's no you're not looking at McDonald's and then but Five Guys is next door, but nah, fuck it, let's go McDonald's.
Well, no, yeah, but do you know what I mean? Massive difference. One to cost you 16 quid, the other's going to cost.
Yeah, true. There is that, but but with
Five
games,
Guys
it's there are games sat on my PlayStation or my Switch or whatever that I could have just clicked on instead. But I just went, nah, fuck it, Destiny.
I'll slip in something comfortable.
So, like I say, I do sort of appreciate that push to play different things, but occasionally it's I do resent myself a little bit for not bothering to do so.
This is why I've always got loads of shit, because I play 2 hours of a game here and 2 hours there. I do that because I'm trying to play something new, and then I just don't have time to get back to it because I need something new for next week. Last couple of weeks, I've talked about Everybody's Golf and Days Gone. I can't do that again, even though I'll be playing both of them. And we've got a really busy week ahead of us, but I'll have to find time for something else. But yeah, that's why I get shit for all that stuff, really. Anyway, it is tough, but just also, you don't have to. For people not doing a podcast, there's no pressure. Just enjoy it, and you will go through massive, periods where you just play the same game for ages. But if that keeps you sane and gets you through a day, then more power to you. Just get through a day. That's the important thing, isn't it?
Yep.
Ben Syme at Scientologist. Maybe it'll be on the show, but I was surprised no one had been playing SteamWorld Quest. You should. It's good. What games are you surprised that you or the others on the show haven't played this year?
I am also surprised that I've not played SteamWorld Quest. I think it's suffered from the fact that so for one thing, Joe Scrabbles played it and he wasn't he's a big SteamWorld fan, same as me. He wasn't totally bowled over by it. He's it's probably the worst SteamWorld game, but still really good, but just doesn't stand up to the others. So that threw me off a little bit. And then there's just been a big sale on the Switch, so I've bought a load of stuff because it was cheap, and there's just no way I'm going to have time for SteamWorld Quest. I'm definitely going to try and make sure I get around to it by the end of the year, because I don't know if it is the sort of thing that will make the Game of the Year list. Probably not, but it's certainly one I want to have ticked off at some point. But then, I mean, I was quite late to SteamWorld Heist, and that's like one of my all-time favourites, so maybe I should just not rush it. Who knows?
What sort of game is it? I probably should know, but...
Well, I think it's quite similar to Nowhere Prophet I described earlier. So I know it's like it's an RPG, but with a card battling system. That is about all I know about it. The criticisms I've heard is that basically, like, there are interesting mechanics there, but you don't really necessarily have to engage with them. Like, you can just pile on the damage and win most of the time. But yeah, I don't know. I should still check it out. But yeah, it's just not been a priority for various reasons, I guess.
Yeah.
In terms of what else we're surprised that we or the others have not played this year.
I can't believe you guys haven't played Resident Evil 2.
I'm too scared.
But you liked the original, didn't you?
No, I never played the original.
Oh, you okay, didn't you? I must have forgot. But you, James, I mean, you loved the original, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I just haven't got around to it yet. It's just been too much stuff. Because I've just seemed to have gone from one massive game to another, and it just hasn't been time.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, you know, obviously we talked about this a lot with the last Game of the Year show because we got some stick for certain games not being included or whatever. And it's just the realities of us not doing this as a full-time job, really.
Yeah. But it's been a really weird year this year, I think, so far. I mean, I'm sure some people already have, like Resident Evil 2 is definitely up there for my game of the year so far. But this time last year, we had Celeste, we had Monster Hunter was already out at this point, maybe last year. We had... Last year was really like... there's loads at the start of the year. This year...
Yeah. Not so much.
Resident Evil's been out. What other massive games? I mean, we're all going to forget big games. People are going to say, I can't believe you didn't remember that big game. But
this is
feels like it's been really quiet so far. Maybe
like
I'm
this
wrong,
year,
but...
there's been... Yeah, it feels like, so many games have come out where it's been like, but actually it sold well, even though the journalist said it was bad, like Anthem or Days Gone or whatever.
Days Gone,
it's because there's fuck all else on. It's just, like, if those are the experiences you want, there's not much to choose from at the moment. So of course they're selling. Like... Yeah. Because there's not much else to divert people's attention, and they've had a good marketing spend. That's all it takes at the moment.
I'll tell you what isn't selling. Anthem.
Is there another news story on that this week, James?
Well, that's not true, James, because it got number one in MPDs that month, so that'll be yours. That'll be yours, boy. That's it for emails.
I was just going to say, like, as someone who likes the indie games, as I say, like, with the Switch alone... I am absolutely swamped with stuff to play, and it's great. I haven't yet got to that point that you do with Steam where you just have too much on and it's just depressing because you're buying things and literally never even playing them. But
do you think that's because generally Switch doesn't have the sort of sales that Steam does? So although like a game you mentioned earlier was like £2, I mean, because generally. But because Switch doesn't have those sort of sales, if it did, I'll be buying absolute fuckloads every week if games are like £1 or £2 or maybe £3. But because generally they're like £8 plus, it's not something I'm like, well, I've got to get that every single week. I've played so many good games this year. I mean, like on Switch, Red Strings Club was fantastic.
Yeah.
I've loved My Time with Portia. I know it came out last year on PC, but. Yeah, there's been some goodies, but it has been a bit of a weird start to the year, unless I'm forgetting something massive. Like Resident 2 is like the big one for me so far.
Yeah, I mean, the point about Switch sales is a good one because so the sale that's been on at the moment, I think it ends today by the time this episode goes out. It's like they make a big deal about like, there's a big indie sale on, like up to 80% off, which means there'll be like one game that was a £5 and is now £1 or whatever, and the rest of the discounts are okay, but there are so many games that are like you think you might like, but they're basically a total punt because you've heard nothing about them, and they're still like a tenner, and you're like, well, it's not really it's probably pretty good value for money, but it's not quite impulse purchase territory, and like so many games sort of sit in that area still. So
true.
So I don't go mad with the Switch sales, but
I find that quite. I know this will sound stupid, but I find that quite nice, to be honest. That it's like I'm not just buying loads of stuff. It's like
absolutely, as I say, yeah. Like, I don't want it to get to that point where everyone did with Steam, where it's like I've got games in my list that I couldn't even tell you what they were or when I got them, or which is just ridiculous because like, it was only £3. It's like, yeah, but it's still a waste. It's a waste of £3.
I'm not a PC gamer. Like the PC I use streams, it's not really, but it can't really do games. And I've got a Mac, but I've got hundreds of games in my Steam library. So and I'm from like Humble Bundles or this and the other over the years. Like, yeah. So for people who are actually like a proper PC gamer, they must have like thousands of games in their Steam libraries with all the sales.
But don't you feel that? I mean, that feels like it's like devalued everything as well, really.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely,
just like that. And it's I don't know. I just still think that's kind of a shame.
Yeah, those people say that. Well, I could buy a thing, but I might as well wait for the Steam sale and it'd be like a lot cheaper. Anyway, that's it for emails this week. If you want to leave us an email, it is podcast@thecomputergameshow.com. I'll
tweets.
quickly end by talking about our streams. This week we've got a bumper week. On Friday, James will hopefully be 100% well. James, you're feeling a lot better now, aren't you? So
yeah, I'm fine.
This Friday night, Deadly Premonition at 9 o'clock on twitch.tv/Computer Game Show. You're going to finish this game, aren't you, James?
I'm not convinced I am. But
you're the last boss. James on the last boss.
I think it's the last boss. I'm assuming it is. But,
yeah. Last boss, Deadly Premonition, Friday night, 9 p.m. James is going to get Deadly Premonition done. On Sunday night, you got a double bill, you lucky people. From 7 p.m. on Twitch, Sean is doing the first episode of Bell's Kitchen, thanks to you lovely patrons who allowed us to hit that stretch goal. 7 p.m. live on twitch.tv/Computer Game Show. Sean will be cooking up a storm in his own kitchen. That's from 7. And then I'll be on from 8:30 playing some Bloodborne on Bloodborne Sundays. I might be a little bit late. I'll be watching Sean's stream anyway. But so if it means waiting 5-10 minutes to watch the dessert come out of the oven or fridge, then I'll wait a bit. But yeah, basically from 7 o'clock onwards, you've got some action on Twitch on Sunday night, and then Tuesday maybe Sean. Hopefully we're back for Play by the Bell on Tuesday. We've got to apologise. We've had to move like Sean's streams loads either through Game of Thrones or illness or like recording other stuff for Patreon. So we do apologise if I had to like move that around. You did do one last week on Wednesday, admittedly, but we have had to cancel a couple here and there. We do apologise. But yeah, I hope next week we'll be back to normal.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but yeah, so there's tons. If you've got Twitch Prime, if you've got Amazon Prime, so you've got Twitch Prime, and with that you get 1 free sub a month. We'd really appreciate it if you gave us that sub. Just go to our Twitch account and do it. We've had people also say, like, how do I sub on mobile? It's 2019 and Twitch's mobile app is unbelievably shit. You can't subscribe on mobile. You have to go to a desktop app. You can't do it on any app on smart TVs, on consoles, on the phone. It's mental. How they haven't
really
done that. The app is so bad. Anyway, if you want to subscribe, you've got to go to desktop, but go to twitch.tv, find us, and you can subscribe for free. And we really appreciate that because it really helps us. And that's it.
Yeah, and if you do it during one of our streams, you'll get like a weird sort of us being like, "Oh fuck, what was that? What just happened?" And then we read your name out.
Yeah, if you're live, you get a bit of a shout out. Obviously, we're on Patreon as well. If you liked our streams or the podcast in general, go over to patreon.com/TCGS, and you can find out how you can support the show.
Get some extra shit.
Yeah, get some exclusive stuff. We're recording the Patreon, our first Patreon podcast this weekend. That'll be out very shortly. We've got a TCGS talks over the 2013 Xbox One announcement.
Is it this weekend?
Yes, it's Saturday, James.
Oh, you're joking. Okay.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, this is going well.
No, because it's just... Okay, we'll talk about this off here.
We need a shared Google Calendar for this.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Anyway, well, the pod will be out soon. Yeah, but if you back us now, we all talk about over the 2013 Xbox One announcement, other sort of stuff on there. Star Wars is coming soon, and all sorts. So yeah, go to patreon.com/TCGS and find us there.
Cool. Right, thanks for listening. It has actually been a relatively short one, guys. We can go to bed at a normal hour. Well, Matt can't because he's got to do the edit. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks very much for listening, and we will see you next week or on one of the streams or whatever. Thank you for letting us be natural. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Yeah.
James was never going to do that.
Thanks, James. Thanks.
James was never going to do it. He should have said, can I have a whoop?